It may be a brand new season at a sparkling new venue, but an old rivalry is being renewed tonight as the Passion welcome the DC Divas back to Pittsburgh. Hello and a very pleasant good evening to you. I'm Chris Shublin with former Passion star Jennifer Cairns. We're at the all-new Highmark Stadium at Station Square on Pittsburgh's south side in what could be the biggest, most monumental, most significant season opener in franchise history, Jen.
Home openers are always exciting, Chris, but this one is extra special. The Passion have a new home in the heart of the most livable city in the U.S. And as always, the Passion faithful have come out in force to support their beloved black and gold.
That they have indeed. Now, Jen, let's get it between the white lines and talk about the players you need to focus in on tonight as we get set for this game.
Well, starting with the DC Divas, looking offensively, we have to turn our attention to number 29, running back Kenyatta Grisby. She rushed for over 1,000 yards last season, finding the end zone 14 times. Defensively for the Divas, it's number 58, linebacker Trigger McNair. She led the team in tackles, tallying 46 on the season, and also led the team in forced fumbles. Turning to our beloved Passion, there are two ladies that you know very well. Offensively, number 14, quarterback Lisa Horton. She passed for over 1,300 yards last season, finding the end zone 19 times. Most impressively, Chris, only one interception thrown. Defensively, we turn our attention to number 86, defensive end Olivia Griswold. She led the team in tackles once again in 2012, tallying 47 on the season. 11 of those tackles for loss. She managed to block 2 punts and also found the end zone 1 time for a rushing TD.
And you talk about those players, they're some of the best in women's professional football. Now let's talk about the keys to victory. How do you get a win tonight?
Well, for the Divas, they're going to have to stay on task and look out for those trick plays that the Pittsburgh Passion like to run. The Passion are known for catching their opponents off guard, especially early on in the game. As such, the DC Divas are going to have to stay disciplined with their assignments. They're also going to have to shut down that air attack that Lisa Horton loves to put on, forcing the Passion to beat them on the ground. For the Passion, we have to contain the run. As I noted, number 29, Kenyatta Grisby, is the DC Divas' #1 weapon. The Pittsburgh Passion have to do what they do best and swarm that ball carrier. And also, Chris, putting pressure on quarterback Allison Hamlin. She's a very accurate passer, but she's a true pocket passer and not very mobile.
All right, an exciting night here on the south side of Pittsburgh. The Passion christen a brand new venue, Highmark Stadium. Kickoff between the DC Divas and the Pittsburgh Passion is coming up next.
Captains, introduce yourselves.
Down.
Ladies, we have 3 wounded veterans here today for the coin toss. Okay, they will be throwing the coin up. That side there is heads, has the Pittsburgh Police on it. Okay, the side there with the officer's badges has the tails. Correct. The heads are heads. That side is tails. I said it backwards the first time. Tails, heads. That's their badges, heads. Your call will be? Tails is the call. She's going to throw it up in the air and it's going to hit the ground. Tails was the call. It's a head. Pittsburgh has won the toss. You want the football. Which goal would you like to defend, ladies? That one? Turn right there. Pittsburgh, make a line right in front of the veterans here. Pittsburgh won the toss. They will receive. DC will defend that goal. Okay, ladies, shake hands and bring them out. Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Two teams that are no strangers to one another getting set to play football here in Pittsburgh tonight as the Passion and the DC Divas get set to do it up again. Last season, Pittsburgh won at Washington early on in the regular season, 35-34, but DC came to Pittsburgh and took one from the Passion, 43-28, before the Passion fell in the playoffs at DC, 45-30. So Pittsburgh has some payback here in store, I would think, Jennifer.
We definitely do. You know, this has been a heated rivalry since our inaugural season back in 2002. There's no love lost between the teams, and I expect it to be a good game here tonight.
We've seen some high scoring between these two teams down through the seasons, as we see Chris Simon get set to tee the football up, and it already tumbled off the tee. So first night jitters even for the ballpark.
I guess so. We're dealing with our windy city here right off the river, taking the ball off the tee.
A gorgeous venue here at Station Square, the brand new Highmark Stadium. And now Simon gets the run up and the kick. It's in the air.
It's bobbled.
And on the return, Passion will get it out over the 35 to the 36-yard line. And that's where the offense will start here tonight, as Pittsburgh will have first possession, as Sonia Osselborn is the returner who got tackled after that bobble at the 36-yard line. So the Passion come out, and here we go, another season, the 11th season of Pittsburgh Passion football.
That's right, and Sonia Osselborn did a great job there, getting her head about her to pick up that ball and still make some positive yardage after bobbling it.
Lisa Horton comes in as the quarterback of the Pittsburgh Passion. Great to see her in the backfield again. Threw for 1,329 yards, 19 touchdowns last season as the starting QB for this franchise. Horton will go into the shotgun with running back to her left. This is Haig in motion. Off to the left. Play action, and Haig gets a little bubble screen. And she'll be dragged down over on the near sideline after a little pass and catch. The tackle made by Devin Goldsmith for the DC Divas on the near side, but the Passion immediately go to the air and pick up a first down.
Excellent toss and catch there by Lisa Horton to Amanda Haig. Amanda Haig turns on the Jets just enough to get around the corner for that first down.
Now the Passion will send receivers double to both sides. A two-slot formation. Horton in the gun once again. The Sierra Chick is the single running back right behind Lisa. First down and 10 for the Passion from the 46-yard line.
Conduct signals. Do a check with me here on the near side and then toss it out.
Quick out over to the right side and caught again, but this time the knee was down. Amanda Haig made the catch, but immediately went down to her knee to catch that football. So the Passion actually with the completion will lose 2 back to the 44.
So she ends up only losing a couple where...
And that must be a rule amendment there, Chris, because in years past we would play by NFL rules. They needed to be touched when the knee goes down, but clearly college rules taken over in this season.
Second down and 12 for Pittsburgh in this first series of play. Again, 2 receivers, actually 3 receivers to the right side this time, and a single tight end wide to the left for Horton and the Passion. Lisa shaking off the one call, changing up perhaps, play action. She's going to fire downfield. There's Amanda Haig, and she has another first down as the catch is made, and the drag all the way to the 41-yard line for Pittsburgh.
Excellent concentration there by Amanda Haig, who had to go up in the air to get the ball down, but she kept her wits about her, even though I'm sure she felt that defender's footsteps creeping up behind her. Reels in the catch, picks up another Pittsburgh Passion first down.
Haig this time will come to the left side.
Another first down for...
She'll be in the slot over to the near side left. 2 slot receivers. Horton again oversees the DC defense. It looks like they're showing blitz, and we've got some movement on the line and flags.
Of course, fingers are pointing both directions, and it looks like the Passion jumped.
False start on Pittsburgh, cost them 5, pushes the football back to the DC 46-yard line.
First down and 10 from there.
First down, 15 yards to go for the Passion. Early on in this ball game, Pittsburgh's first offensive possession. The Passion moving through the air as we expected.
We said it at the beginning of the game, you know, this was going to be an air attack that the DC Divas needed to figure out how to stop, and so far they haven't done that.
3 receivers to the left, 1 to the right. Horton in the gun again. This time they'll keep it on the ground. This will be Osselborn running the football. And Osselborn got spun around and thrown down. Good hard hit that time by Melissa Bedwell of the DC Divas.
Osselborn did a good job there of finding the hole, hitting it hard, and she picked up the positive yards that she could gain in all that traffic.
saw there after.
Second down, 13 to go for the Passion now. Osselborn was late to come out of the lineup, and she'll head to the sideline.
40 to play opening quarter between the Passions and
Chick comes back in as the running back. She's off to Lisa Horton's left shoulder.
car to the left side.
Again, DC showing a little bit of blitz. Trigger McNair, their lead tackler. Looks like she's coming. Here's a quick slant out to the near side left. Haig makes the catch, and Haig dancing all the way down to the 32-yard line. It looks like she'll be about a yard shy of the first down marker, but another quick, slippery pass over to the left side by Lisa Horton to Amanda Haig.
It's amazing how those passes are coming on a rope to Amanda Haig, and then Amanda Haig just dances her way down the field, zigging and zagging through those open lines that she can find through the Divas defense.
That's a big chunk for the Passion offense.
It'll be third down and 1 for Pittsburgh. Haig will come into the backfield. They're going to go with a big set
They've taken almost 15
as
5 minutes
we see Henderson and Snyder come into the backfield as well.
on a moving first quarter.
Straight old-fashioned stacked eye. Haig gets the handoff and the first down around the 30. She'll break one tackle and slant out to the far side and move that football down to the 24-yard line for a big first down on the ground for the Passion.
She's doing an excellent job there breaking through the defenders. You saw 1 or 2 of the Divas that should have had her 3 or 4 yards before they actually take her down. Want to see that ball a little closer to the body, but I think she's toying with them a bit, and so it's throwing them off base.
Incredibly unique. Their offense is the one you have.
Again, Pittsburgh comes up with that stacked eye offense.
Saw it in the last play.
3 runners behind Lisa Horton.
This 3-man setback.
First down and 10, Pittsburgh football.
Goes under center.
Here again is Haig. And she was the last woman in that I formation, and Haig got dragged down behind the line this time. Good pursuit by the DC Divas.
It looks like it was number 98, Allison Swales, who was able to bring Amanda Haig down in the backfield.
3 consecutive formations. Change of formations. Change of
Swales with a good tackle. Trigger McNair, of course, their lead tackler last season with 46 tackles, 2.5 for losses, and she was just tremendous on the defensive side of the football for the Divas last year.
She absolutely was, and she's well known by the Pittsburgh Passion, so I'm sure they've game planned for her attack.
Second down and 11 after a loss of 1.
First drive.
Griswold is out wide to the left side, playing on both sides of the ball here again. Horton looking for her. Slap pass, caught. Look at Olivia Griswold battling and maintaining possession and her footing all the way down inside the 5-yard line.
Absolutely fantastic, Chris. I was going to say that defensive back, number 14, has her hands full with the beast, Olivia Griswold, and you could see Olivia just carry her for a couple yards, trying to claw her way into the end zone.
That was Eleni Kotzes who did everything she could to try to bring Olivia down, and she finally did at the 5-yard line, where it's first and goal from the 5 for the Pittsburgh Passion.
She did about all you could do in that situation when you're outside, is just hang on until the cavalry arrived, and luckily for Kotzes, the cavalry did come.
Now let's see what the Passion will do here. They're going to go back with that stacked eye backfield, and they'll do exactly that. Candace Snyder is the fullback, and behind her is Henderson and then Haig. Play fake, and Horton on the roll. Trying to cut around the left end, and Horton is going to be dropped for about a 2-yard loss. Excellent defensive pursuit, and that was Eleni Kotzes that time who made the tackle on the play deep in the Passion backfield.
She probably feels the heat on her to bring up those big plays, keep the Passion out of the end zone.
Instead of some seconds, give it some minutes as the Passion still set up here nicely.
First down and goal from, or I should say second down and goal from the 7-yard line now for Pittsburgh. Sherry Kring, tight end to the right side, and over to the left side is Autumn Dilliman.
Brand of football, a soccer vibe here.
We're going to go with that
Station Square, just a different.
stacked eye offense once again. Horton turns and gives. This is the fullback running to the left and carrying it all the way down to the goal line for the Pittsburgh touchdown, and that's Candace Snyder running it in from 7 yards away off the left side, giving Pittsburgh its first score of the season.
And you can hear the crowd, Chris. Boy, are they excited for the first Pittsburgh Passion touchdown of 2013 on the opening drive of the season. The Pittsburgh Passion were in control the whole drive, just moving the football in the DC Diva defense.
We had a brand new stadium, and I thought it was going to collapse.
7-yard touchdown run. Candace Snyder of Pittsburgh scoring the first touchdown here at this stadium at Station Square.
Harry takes her off to the house.
Amy Fallon is on to kick the point after now. Here's the snap. Placement is down. Fallon puts her foot into it. It is up and it is good. And the Passion take a 7-0 lead just that easily as they move the football downfield very methodically.
Yes, they did. And for Candace Snyder, what a feather to have in your cap. First touchdown of the 2013 season for the 5'10", 208-pound lady from Natrona Heights, PA, graduate of La Roche College.
Snyder with a 7-yard touchdown blast. Pittsburgh really mixed it up nicely, didn't they, Jen?
They were changing formations all the way up down the field. Yes, they were pass heavy, but the passes were going to different targets for Lisa Horton, and ultimately they ended up scoring on the ground, which is not the way the DC Divas would want to have things done.
Muzzy Colosimo is the new head coach of the Pittsburgh Passion, as Teresa Kahn has become the associate head coach. She, of course, the owner. She and Franco Harris own the franchise, but Muzzy comes in after a stellar career as a high school coach at Greensburg Central Catholic for many years. Now we see the kickoff. And the return is on, and DC finally has possession of the football, and on the return is Ashley Wisenant. And Wisenant with a good return out toward midfield. She'll be dropped at around the 45-yard line, so DC has excellent field position now.
They do, and they look like they were going to get a few extra yards there till number 5, Sonia Osborne, was able to get an arm in there and slow her down and bring her to the ground.
Now watch out for DC. The ladies from Washington know how to put some points on the board. As we told you, Allison Hamlin, their quarterback, returns after throwing for 1,115 yards and 18 touchdowns last year, but she's basically a drop-back passer. You don't fear her running at all, do you?
You absolutely don't, but she's very methodical. She's very accurate, and so the longer you give her back there, the more likely it is she's going to complete that pass.
She'll drop back and hand off to the talented running back, and this is Grigsby down around the left side, and Grigsby could cause some problems here tonight. She's showing that early here. She picks up a first down. As a matter of fact, she'll pick up 15 yards down to the Passion 40. She was a problem for Pittsburgh last season.
She was. She comes in at 5'6", 165 pounds, a product of Detroit, Michigan. And again, you see Olivia Griswold trying to get out there to the outside to bring her down, but you're not going to be able to arm tackle Kenyatta Grisby. You're going to have to get her low.
Juliet Baker-Bryce is the wide receiver to the left side. To the right is Ashley Wisenant. Grigsby dotting the I. Last year, Grigsby rushed for over 1,000 yards. Here she comes again to the right side with a big hole, able to break tackles. Grigsby down the right sideline. She's going to go all the way for the touchdown for DC. Wow, just that quickly the Divas get on the board. A 40-yard touchdown scamper by that great running back, Kenyatta Grigsby.
It looks like they have an injured lineman on the play, but Kenyatta Grigsby is a tough, hard runner. You need to meet force with force in order to slow her down. The Pittsburgh Passion are going to have to do what they do best, and that's typically swarming the ball carrier. You're not going to be able to take on Kenyatta Grigsby one-on-one.
Well, Passion got burned on that series. Just won a couple of plays. Now DC is on to kick the point after. Trying to tie the ball game up this early.
The key will be how this defense responds. Now the home opener jitters are out. Will they be able to come back and shut them down in the next series?
I don't think they minded too much because Horton and company.
They're still working on getting the injured player off the field. That's Jacqueline Farmer, who was shaken up, one of the linemen. And they walk her to the sideline. So Dave Barry and his officiating crew giving permission to get the kick up into the air, and it is up, and it's good, and we have a tie ball game now as Chris Simon was able to knock that one through, so it's a 7-7 game. And Jennifer Cairns, you've played against these Divas. You've been part of this rivalry down through the years as a player and a broadcaster, and you know that DC and Pittsburgh, here we go again, right?
Yeah, it's always a ping pong match, back and forth, and both teams have solid defenses. It's just they know each other so well. They know their strengths and they know the weaknesses and the Achilles heels to play on, and so it's a matter of who's going to respond first, whose defense is going to step up and shut the other one's offense down. I believe it'll be the Passion.
Well, DC reinvigorated. They're already out there, their kick team out there with Chris Simon ready to boot it away. Back to receive for Pittsburgh will be Osselborn and Haig as Simon gets it ready to tee it up. Here as we're starting to lose our sunlight here as the lights are on already at brand new Highmark Stadium here at Station Square. Simon gets permission to kick. And this one's going to be tall but not deep. It'll take a bounce and Osselborn will grab it. And here she comes with a slight wedge in front of her, and she's able to slice through. A pretty good return out beyond the 40-yard line. The tackle on the play made by Raina Rory, a defensive back from Arlington, Virginia. And Pittsburgh has its second possession of the early evening.
Good field position for the Pittsburgh Passion. You know, Lisa Horton is coming out, invigorating her offense, saying we got to get that touchdown back.
No, and you mentioned it kind of falling.
Pittsburgh Passion Football is brought to you tonight by the Pittsburgh Brewing Company, makers of Iron City Beer and Icy Light, by UPMC Sports Medicine, by U.S. Foods, by the Club Sport and Health, and by Core. Chris Shublin with Jennifer Cairns on the call here tonight at Highmark Stadium on the south side. Here's the handoff, and it's Sierra Chick who runs it on a quick opener out beyond the 45 and up close to the 47-yard line. The tackle made by DC's Devin Goldsmith.
A solid first down play for the running back Sierra Chick. Doing what you need to do.
Yeah, get a second down and short. That's what the Passion want to do. Keep it up with.
Passion trying to mix it up. They started in the air. They've gone to the ground since, and they've opened up this series with a ground play. Right now, second down and about 4.
They just want to score.
Haig will go out wide to the right side this time. They have a slot to the right as well. This time 2 backs and a broken eye backfield.
First quarter clock, offset eye.
Horton. She'll hand off. Once again, it's Chick with a big hole up the near side. Chick to the 30, 20. Nobody's going to catch her. 10-5. Touchdown, Pittsburgh.
And Sierra Chick just showcased that world-class speed that we came to know and love last year and see more and more of. Once she turned the corner and broke for the outside, there was no catching her. That strong safety was trying her darndest to get across there, but that was not going to happen.
A 53-yard run by Sierra Chick of the Pittsburgh Passion. And Pittsburgh has reclaimed the lead with 5.5 minutes left here in the first period of play.
And she was not.
Amy Fallon is on for the point after.
This one now a quick one by the Passion.
Placement and the boot. And it is good. And the Passion take a 14-7 lead over the DC Divas just that fast.
Well, not to be outdone, they said, hey, you can do it in a couple plays. We'll show you we can do it in fewer. And so 2 plays into the second drive of the 2013 season, 53-yard touchdown run by Sierra Chick. And you know what, Chris? She didn't even look winded after that. That's the amazing thing.
And nobody was going to catch her either.
No way. She turned on the jets, and it was see you later.
She outran all 22 people on the field, including herself.
That's right.
14-7, Pittsburgh in the lead. Amy Fallon comes out to kick off. What a gorgeous night it is here in Pittsburgh tonight. We still have some blue skies above us. The sun is starting to set. A little sunshine off the building tops, the skyscrapers, if you will, in downtown Pittsburgh, and a gorgeous night here on the south side looking toward the city. Fallon's kick, a line drive. It's going to take a hop, and it'll give away from the returner, Juliet Baker-Bryce.
She had no choice but to down it there, and she saw the black jerseys closing in and closing in fast, so she did what she could to protect the ball. We got somebody down there in black. Can't make out the number.
Now that'll be 13-yard line.
Well, the UPMC doc's on the way over to check out the injured player.
Ashing sideline, all go down to one knee.
And you want to be cautious.
Right now,
It's the law.
just making sure that player is going to be okay, checking on her over there.
AC points, you're gonna see some mistakes.
Big start for Pittsburgh here tonight. They move the ball downfield with Candace Snyder getting the first touchdown on the ground on a 7-yard run. Amy Fallon added the point after that. Came with 7:38 to go in the first period of play. But DC got the ball, and 2 plays later they were in the end zone as Kenyatta Grigsby ran it in from 40 yards away. Chris Simon added the extra point kick, and Ciara Chick did the same thing. 2 plays into the next possession, Pittsburgh's on the board with a 53-yard run.
Absolutely. This is a big series right here for the Pittsburgh Passion defense to see how they reacted to that 2-play drive the Divas were able to find the end zone with. They're not starting off with this field position they started off with last time, so hopefully that gives the Passion defense confidence that they can hold them. It looks like it might be 29 Melissa Gazdick that is the injured player on the field.
And she'll be assisted to the locker room. They're going to take her straight to the locker room for a checkup, and hopefully she'll be able to get back in here soon. If not, they'll make sure that she's ready for the next time out. Now DC will start with its back to the wall here as Allison Hamlin comes out after the kickoff was downed because of necessity back at around the 12-yard line. Play action fake. They're going to wing one out. Looking for the receiver out to the wide side right. It's Wizenot makes the catch and the adjustment, and she's off to the races. And Wizenot's going to be gone for a TD. Unbelievable. Wow. 87 yards off of play action for the long touchdown, and Wizenot flying in.
It looks as though number 24, Kristen Rusica for the Pittsburgh Passion, tried to make the best play she could on the ball. Number 12, Wizenot, just made a better play to come down with it, and then unfortunately there was not another defender in the area as they appeared to be in man coverage. Number 12 was Allison Hamlin's number 1 target in 2012. Doesn't seem to have changed in 2013.
Snap for the extra point kick, and the boot is up, and it's good by Chris Simon once again. So, wow, we're just exchanging touchdowns here, DC and Pittsburgh, and it's all knotted up at 14 apiece.
It is. It's just a matter of who's going to settle down first. Both defenses seem a little bit rattled at the moment, but I'm confident that as we settle into this first quarter, things are going to shore up here.
But the second play is a pass.
Just an incredible play that time as Wizenot made a nice adjustment over the defensive back, made the catch and scampered with that pass out to the right side, 87 yards. And again, Allison Hamlin off of play action getting that ball to her, and that comes just 21 seconds after the Passion scored.
But it wasn't necessarily she needed to beat the
5:08 still to go here in the first period of play. Already 28 points on the board, 14 for Pittsburgh, 14 for Washington.
couple plays.
The DC Divas tie it up again.
Touchdown by the DC Divas.
Simon ready to boot.
Defense, because Passion going to score, but what if you're up 7 and 10 seconds or into this?
She'll punch that one down looking for Osselborn, and it gets around her, the 10 to the 5. It'll roll all the way into the end zone for the touchback, so the Passion will take possession of this one at their own 20-yard line.
Passion will have the worst field position that they've had in the first quarter, but I'm confident that they will be able to get their backs out of the end zone and do what they've done all game long, move the ball on the DC Diva defense.
Lisa Horton comes off the sideline to quarterback the Passion. She'll send Haig over to the near side left. Also coming out to the near side will be Baker.
On those 2 drives they had.
2 running backs. Chick is dotting the I behind the fullback, Candace Snyder.
It's always the unsung hero. When you
Snyder has a touchdown in this game already.
need that.
Horton, bad exchange from center, had to go down on top of it.
Football on the play.
And she'll get it at around the 24. So the Passion do recover. They'll lose a yard. It'll be 2nd down and 11. Autumn Dilliman checks into the ball game now, brings a play in for Horton. And Sherry Kring will come out.
Well, sometimes all you can do in that situation, Chris, is just live to survive another down, and that's what Horton did by protecting the ball.
Clock winding, 4.5 to go here in the first quarter of play. Pittsburgh 14, DC 14. Horton will send 2 receivers to the right this time. Haig is in the slot.
No, and she's a
Chick and Snyder in the eye behind her. Play action. Horton winds and throws downfield looking for Haig, and that is incomplete. And I thought the defensive back might have had Haig by the shoulders a little too early there before that ball came down. It looked like Callie Brownson might have gotten a piece of her before that ball landed in her hands, or toward her anyway.
I agree with you, Chris. I was immediately looking for that yellow flag to come out of Dave Barry's pocket or somebody's pocket, and it just never came. I think the DC Diva defense got away with one there.
So it will be 3rd down and 11 for Pittsburgh now. Ball at the 24.
Get the ball back at all.
Olivia Griswold comes in to work as a wideout once again. She'll be in the slot to the near side. Haig and Kring are the 2 others in the slot. 1 single receiver to the right side is a flanker, and Horton in the gun this time. Drops back, draws in a crowd, and fires a pass to Haig. She's on the carpet. She has a first down, and the Passion move the chains out to the 39-yard line on a pitch and catch from Horton to Haig.
Tremendous 3rd down play. Again, Amanda Haig reeling in a very nice thrown ball from Lisa Horton, and then fighting for that first down. She was not going to be denied.
3:45 to go. Time winding here in the first period. Tied up at 14. Lisa Horton winding and throwing to Amanda Haig. They've been a great combination down through the years for Pittsburgh. Still doing it here in 2013 in the opening game. Haig and Griswold both come out wide to the left side again. Horton will send a running back out. Empty backfield now. 5 wides. Horton looking, firing, Griswold! Oh, she turned around a little bit too late looking for that football. I think she was anticipating another second or 2 before that ball was delivered to her, so it goes incomplete. She was covered by Alice Cates, but Cates was really out of position to make a move on that ball.
I agree. It's one of those catches that you wish you had another shot at it. She would have been homeward bound. I don't think the defender was going to catch up with her in that instance.
2nd down 10.
Yeah, no question about it. She is the leader of this football team. She is.
Again, Griswold and Haig will come to the near side. Baker is out wide to the right for Pittsburgh.
She should have caught it.
Osselborn comes in as the running back now, and she's off to the right shoulder of Lisa Horton. Now Osselborn goes in motion. She'll go out into formation now. So it's again an empty backfield. Quick pitch, and that one is tipped, but Haig makes the catch. Has blockers. And Haig is finally dropped at around the 44-yard line. Amanda Haig with great concentration on that tipped ball as it was close to being picked by DC.
Well, she shows you why she's a veteran on this team. She's calm under pressure. It looked like number 98, Allison Swales, the DC Divas, coming in at 6'2", was able to get one of those big paws on the ball. But again, Amanda Haig with amazing concentration, fielding that ball from the air and making what she could of the play.
Melissa Bedwell wouldn't let her go. She's the one who made the tackle. Otherwise, Haig might have had a first down or more. Now instead, it's 3rd down and 4 for Pittsburgh. Haig will go into the slot to the right side this time, and Griswold is a single receiver to the left. Horton may be changing up the play. She's going to roll right. Sets and throws, and that one is incomplete. intended for Angela Baker and overthrown on the play. And that will bring up 4th down and about 4 yards to go for the Pittsburgh Passion. It looks like we may be getting our first punt of the game.
That ball a little too high for the intended wide receiver. Escapes being picked off, but believe you me, Horton is keeping her team under control, reassuring them that they will be able to score and drive on the DC Diva defense as they've done drive after drive thus far.
Osselborn will come out of the lineup now. Do they have enough people? No, she's just going to position herself as the left gunner. Haig's on the right side, and the punt unit is out for Pittsburgh. Snap is true, the punt is away, and putting that ball up into the air is Candace Snyder. And here comes Wizenot. She's dangerous. 25-30. Wizenot makes a move, has a block, maintains her balance, and she's going to go. Sherry Kring is the only person between Wizenot and the end zone, and Kring won't be able to get there. There is a penalty flag down on the return, however. We'll have to see what that's all about.
Looks like there are a couple flags down, so wondering what's going on. We'll get a call from the field.
Wow, does Wizenot have some moves or what, Jennifer?
She has patience, and that's probably one of the most important things in any ball carrier is waiting to see where your blocks are going to line up and then following those blocks beautifully, and that's what she did.
Well, fortunately for Pittsburgh, a block in the back call has just negated a dazzling punt return for a touchdown. So DC is going to jaunt all the way back deep downfield to our left. And they're going to have the football, but fortunately they're not going to get any points out of it.
You better believe that Wizenhunt is going to be chomping at the bit to get that ball back in her hands. No player likes to be deprived a touchdown, especially after running that far for one. But the Pittsburgh Passion defense is going to be looking to apply pressure to Allison Hamlin and shore up their tackling.
Great night here for the Passion, opening up the 2013 season at brand new Highmark Stadium overlooking downtown Pittsburgh from the south side at Station Square. Pittsburgh's pro soccer team, the Riverhounds, will share this stadium here. They'll host their home games on the soccer pitch that you might notice out there as you're watching.
That other football team, right?
That's the one, yeah. That's football.
Football.
Allison Hamlin back under center. Kenyatta Grigsby looking for a block and had a couple, but not enough to spring her around that left side like she would have wanted. And the tackler might have been shaken up on the play for Pittsburgh. Not sure who the gal is. You know, you mentioned patience when we talked about Wizenot. How about the patience employed by Kenyatta Grigsby as we see her running well?
Absolutely. It looked like the person shaking up on the play is Olivia Griswold. We know she's tough. She'll take her play out, and I'm sure you'll see her go right back in.
And that's a woman we don't want to see on the sidelines very long. She is one of the, if not the best defenders in women's football.
Absolutely, and she's showing you she can get the job done on the offensive side of the ball too.
Gain of 8, 2nd down and 2 for the Divas. They go to an I. Here's Grigsby again, this time blasting off the right side, and she'll pick up the first down and a little bit more, running into a pile of players. First one to get to her is Janice Masters, it appeared, for Pittsburgh. But they'll move the chains out to the 25-yard line. Tia Montgomery also in there on the action for Pittsburgh as well.
And that's how they're going to have to handle Kenyatta Grigsby. She's a big, powerful runner, and I don't know that there's a big, powerful Pittsburgh Passion defender that can match up with her size-wise. So they're just going to have to swarm and gang tackle.
Kenyatta Grigsby, as we mentioned, a 1,000-yard rusher last year. 14 touchdowns on the ground for DC. Here she comes again off the left side. She got wrapped up right at the line of scrimmage and then dropped. Good defense by the Passion, allowing her just 2 yards on the play that time. And Looked like Pittsburgh's number 77, Caitlin Niedermeyer, was the one who got her first.
That's whose number I saw too there, Chris. It looked like she's the one who held her up in the backfield while the other Passion black jerseys came in to help her out.
Jim, we've already come to the end of the first period of play. We've seen a lot of scoring so far in this ball game. It's Pittsburgh 14 and the DC Divas 14. You're watching the Pittsburgh Passion. Getting set for the start of the second period of play here at Highmark Stadium on Pittsburgh's south side at Station Square. Tonight's Pittsburgh Passion telecast brought to you in part by Silver Sport, by Live Well Chiropractic, Erie Insurance and the Day Insurance Agency, by Station Square, Hidden Valley Resort, AC Athletico, and by Nepper Press. Chris Shovlin, Jennifer Cairns, former Pittsburgh Passion star, number 44 in your program way back when. Well, not that far back.
Not that far ago.
But your number's being used again this year, isn't it?
It is for the first time. That's hard to see, but you know, eventually that has to happen.
I thought they would have retired it by now. I have to talk to Teresa Kahn.
It should be hanging in the rafters somewhere.
It should be. Over on that pole over there. How about that? Back to pass, and incomplete this time as Allison Hamlin was under great pressure by the Pittsburgh Passion.
Looks like her target was number 33, Donna Wilkinson, a longtime veteran of the DC Divas. Lost a step or two in the last couple of years, so couldn't come quite underneath the ball that Hamlin had aired out for her.
Amy Betterton and Caitlin Niedermeyer putting a lot of pressure on Hamlin that time. So now it's 3rd down and 8.
That's the pressure the Pittsburgh Passion defense is going to have to continue to put on Hamlin to get those errant balls thrown.
Hamlin under center. A full head of steam for Grigsby as she breaks through the line. Nice hole opened up on that left side. Still the Passion are going to tackle her short.
Will we see the first punt for the DC Divas, or will they try to call Grigsby's number again to get that last couple of yards?
Olivia Griswold was there to make sure she wasn't going to go over that first down marker, and now it looks like DC is going to change up and bring the punt team out. They're not confident that they can get that 2 yards, particularly at that place on the field.
With the field position they're dealing with here, the smartest thing is to do is punt. But both teams have been bold in the past, just maybe not this early in the game to pull off something like that.
Hard to believe, but it is early in the game. We've just started the second period of play. We've already seen 4 touchdowns.
That's right.
Simon, big rush, flags fly on the punt, and it will come short. Osselborn will grab it on the bounce and get chucked to the near boundary. But let's see what the flags are all about as Pittsburgh had the rush on.
Passion won't argue with. DC Divas not able, they got air under that football, but not able to get enough muster to actually send it downfield. That's a punt they're going to want to have back.
We're going to see an illegal procedure call on the punt team.
So the Passion get an extra 5 yards there on the return. They'll take it.
And they're going to go right back to business on offense now as Horton is the last player off the sideline. She'll bring a play in. What a great leader Lisa Horton has been down through the seasons for this Pittsburgh Passion Club, and what a tremendous and courageous player she's been, battling back from a number of injuries.
Absolutely. You know, she's the true heart and soul of the team, not only of the offense, but of the defense too. She's a key motivator, key leader.
Slot to the left side for Horton, who is under center at quarterback now. Henderson is the fullback, and it looks like Chick comes in at the tailback spot. And it is Chick who gets the handoff. Chick slices through for about a 3 or a 4 yard gain before she's met by Trigger McNair, who led the DC Divas in tackling last year, the linebacker who is originally from the Bronx, New York.
Sierra Chick hails from Charleston, West Virginia, a graduate of West Virginia University, and again, she's showcasing that speed. She's got such a fast first step that she's able to hit that hole hard and pick up extra yardage through the traffic of the DC Diva linebackers.
Haig and Angela Baker both go to the left side this time, otherwise a tight set for Pittsburgh. Horton goes under center once again, now slides Henderson over to the left. Drops back, play fake to Chick. Horton calling her own number, has blockers, has a first down, and there goes Lisa all the way to the 34-yard line.
You know, I was just wondering when and where we were going to start to see it. She's toyed with us the first couple drives, looking as though she might break free, but there she goes again. 2013 is no different than any other season. Lisa Horton getting it done not only with her arm, but her legs as well.
Dillman checks back in, Kring comes out. Henderson's going to check out for Pittsburgh now as they change up the lineup just a little bit. They're going to go with that backfield that features Candace Snyder now at the fullback spot. The slot will come over to the right side with Baker and Haig to the right. Here's the handoff. It's Snyder. Nothing up the middle, so she cut it to the right, and Snyder able to bounce to the outside and move the football downfield against DC, all the way inside their 20-yard line.
You're going to see this quick handoff to number 12, Candace Snyder, and then her just steady and strong, smooth running, getting closer and closer to that end zone, picking up some key yardage for the Pittsburgh Passion.
Ball at the 19 for Pittsburgh, first down and 10. 11:45 left here in the first half of play. The Passion and the Divas tied at 14. Snyder, the fullback here. Baker is right. Haig is to the left side. Here's the handoff. Another quick opener. It's Snyder carrying the football, and Snyder just gets a short gain up the middle before she's jumped on immediately by Devin Goldsmith.
Looked like a quick little dive play there for Snyder, and she was abruptly met by two DC Diva defenders.
Deja Scott was the other one. Pickup of 2, second down and about 8 yards to go now. Ball sitting at the 17.
Just taking longer.
Haig and Baker both going to the left this time. Dillman is the tight end right.
Of another back.
Henderson comes in with Chick dotting the I behind Horton.
Type of way of going about
There's Chick in motion.
physical and make the defense cough up a lung after every hit.
Horton rolling left, pumping, throwing on a square out. Baker makes the catch at the 10 and dives to the sideline for another Pittsburgh first down.
Again, a credible amount of poise and patience exhibited by our fearless leader, number 14, Lisa Horton, waiting for Baker to break coverage to find an opening, and then Baker having concentration to reel that ball into her hands, get out of bounds for a very good yardage, and they are knocking on the door of yet another touchdown, Chris.
First down and goal from the 9-yard line here, Jen. And they'll go with the same personnel out there. This time Baker in the slot with Haig to the right side. Henderson the fullback, and Chick the tailback will get the handoff, and Chick is nailed as soon as she started coming toward the line of scrimmage. An excellent tackle there by Trigger McNair. And that'll be a loss of a yard for Pittsburgh.
The DC Divas tightening things up, trying to hold down the fort as their backs are closed against the end zone. But the Pittsburgh Passion are going to keep chugging at them, keep driving.
Every now and then they're able to read those runs. Passion, I would not be surprised if we see even a throw up.
9.5 minutes to go here in the first half of play. 14 all. Pittsburgh trying to reclaim the lead here. Dillman is tight to the left. Baker in the slot. And Haig out wide to the right side again. Candace Snyder and Sierra Chick are the runners in a broken eye. Horton on second down and goal from the 9. Blitz is coming from McNair. Horton runs away from it, rolls right, sets, throws, end zone. Touchdown, Baker! The Passion reclaim the lead.
You're going to see Aaron Baker make a nice move on that defensive back, but the defensive back just seems sort of like stuck. Deer in headlights, didn't even try to make a play on the ball. So excellent job by Aaron Baker, a graduate of Slippery Rock, Angela Baker, a graduate of Slippery Rock University. I'm sure they're all very proud of her.
That comes with 9:05 to go here in the first half of play. Now Passion appear not to have enough people out there, not enough personnel in the extra point kick team, and they're going to have to waste a timeout here to get enough people on.
Well, that's the kind of timeout that you can have happen in the first half, Chris, but they're going to have to make sure that they have their numbers straight and personnel ready to come in, because you don't want to waste a timeout in the second half against a team like the DC Divas.
Pittsburgh Passion football brought to you in part tonight by Army ROTC, by Three Rivers Paintball Park, All-Star Limousine, European Wax Center, Perkins Dental, and by Aflac. 9 minutes, 5 seconds to go here in the second period of play. Angela Baker hauling in a 9-yard touchdown strike from Lisa Horton in the right flat.
National championship.
Couple great catches there by Angela Baker to set up that touchdown.
Now Kring will hold for Fallon. Placement is there. The kick, a line drive. It's up and it is through. And it is a 21-14 lead now for the Pittsburgh Passion. And Jen, you have to give Pittsburgh a lot of credit. DC keeps coming at them, and the Passion keep coming right back.
Passion are not going to be denied. They're not going to back down from this team. They're showing that they are clearly fearless of the DC Diva defense. And great job by Amy Fallon there, who's been a consistent force for the Pittsburgh Passion at the goalpost. I saw a flag. It looks like it might be a late hit on Amy Fallon there, but I haven't heard the official call.
Yeah, the officials are talking about it right now. Dave Barry and his crew, and I think they're going to assess it on the kickoff here.
She knows it, she takes that on, and she gets her reach.
Let's see what happens out here as they set it up.
She wants it again after the way last season.
9 minutes, 5 seconds left, second quarter. Pittsburgh with a 21-14 lead. I know the offensive coaches have to be happy with what's gone on so far tonight.
I'm sure they're thrilled. I mean, they're being able to move the ball at will and doing it in many different fashions and with many different weapons, showing the depth of the Pittsburgh Passion.
Fallon getting permission to kick and puts her foot into it. It'll bounce, fortunately away from Wizenot, but on the return is Juliet Baker-Rice. And Bryce is going to be dropped at around the 37-yard line.
Solid defense by the Pittsburgh Passion special teams, not letting 44 find green space to break it open. Now we'll put it on the shoulders of the Pittsburgh Passion defense.
And we'll put the football officially down at the 40. First down and 10, DC.
They started.
Now an important drive. This is the respond drive for the DC Divas. They've been able to score.
Well, the Divas going to send Juliet Baker-Bryce out wide to the left side. They have a slot over to the right side. Allison Hamlin goes back under center with Grigsby behind her. Grigsby is the runner. She'll get the handoff here. And Grigsby able to turn that right corner and slide ahead for about a 9-yard gain. A very good, elusive runner is Kenyatta Grigsby, and she showed it again there.
Grigsby continues to get it done, find the space that she needs to create room for herself and break through tackles.
She wants it on her shoulders.
Sharon Vasquez was the one who found her finally and brought her down. Second down and 1.
Get down on the defense, and that can be a
Women's professional football here in Pittsburgh, and this has been one of the hotbeds, needless to say, in the United States for pro football for women. And last year, what a benchmark year it was when the national championship game was played at Heinz Field.
Absolutely, a true first for the league and yet another first for the Pittsburgh Passion, who are the true pioneers of women's football.
This year they're going to head to San Diego. They're going to play where the Chargers play this time around, from what I understand. Is we see a great deal of pressure, a lot of heat put on that quarterback. that time by Olivia Griswold. And not only did they whack Allison Hamlin, but they forced her to throw that ball where she didn't want it to go.
And you can see what a little bit of pressure does to Allison Hamlin. It's a matter of just keep coming at her. She doesn't like to be hit. She doesn't get hit often, and believe me, the more hits she takes, the more she is going to be stuck in the head of that Olivia Griswold coming at her and the other Pittsburgh Passion defenders.
Of the Passion, the trenches have been won. Defense, offense.
Passion look like they're ready to tee off on her once again. They have that line stacked right in front of the quarterback, and here they come after her. Hamlin trying to run with it. She's not a great runner. She's going to be hit and dumped in the backfield. And we have a penalty flag down as well. Pressure came from Caitlin Niedermeyer.
And Hamlin looks hurt. Hamlin looks down.
Well, we don't want to see that, and Allison Hamlin is shaken up, Jen. You're right. Niedermeyer got a piece of her and knocked her over to her left, and then she got finished off by the rest of the Passion defenders. But Hamlin, along with Grigsby, the two offensive leaders for this DC Divas team, they can't afford to lose her for sure.
No, she is a tremendous lifeblood to that team, not only on the offense side of the ball, but the defensive side of the ball too. This would be a huge loss to the Divas offense.
Of course, you talk about the DC Divas on the offensive side, you think about Ashley Wisnott, you think about Kenyetta Grigsby, you think about Allison Hamlin. The fact that they have a pretty big line to support what they do, but they're the skilled players that they count on, and not good to see Hamlin down in this situation here. 7:50 to go here in the second period of play. The Pittsburgh Passion lead the DC Divas by a score of 21-14. And tonight's game is brought to you in part by Yinzer's Film, by Stewart Capital, by Salon Ivy, the PA National Guard, by Vema, Atlas Resource Partners LP, by Toast, and Allegheny Health and Physical Medicine. And it's good to see Allison Hamlin back up, and she's going to trot it off, so I'm guessing she's going to be back soon.
It looked like she was, when she was down, Chris, that it was an upper body injury, shoulder, arm, something. So we'll see how long it takes her to be able to come back in.
Yeah, here's a plus. When your opponent, you're not going to be too thrilled.
DC was also penalized on the play, 10 yards for holding. So not only did the Passion knock the quarterback out for at least a down, but they able to get the officials to cooperate with a little hanky. Clock begins to run again here in the second quarter. 7.5 to go. Passion with a 7-point lead. Looks like Danielle Music is coming in to quarterback. And a bad exchange on that snap. And she'll have to go down and cover the football, so they're going to lose another yard or so.
And here comes the punt team.
Not Music, rather Lindsay Sullers came in to quarterback the club and never got the clean exchange from center, so you're right, they're going to have to punt the football away. Just over 7 minutes to go here in the second period. Remember, Chris Simon's last punt was a little awkward. High snap, rushes on, and again, she's able to pop it out of there. Passion will take it. Osselborn got wrapped up and hit immediately. She almost squirted out of there, however. Osselborn almost burst loose. Melissa Bedwell was able to hang on for the tackle.
Looks like she lost a cleat in the process. But she showed great concentration in bringing that ball in. And like you said, Chris, I thought she was going to skirt through that tackle, and then there was just one other defender waiting for her right after the first, and unfortunately she was not able to break loose.
21-14, Pittsburgh in the lead over Washington's DC Divas, wearing the Redskins colors.
That's true, but the Pittsburgh Passion are wearing the Steelers colors.
That's true, too.
The city of Pittsburgh's colors, maybe I should say.
Very fashionable, both sides of the football.
There you go.
Lisa Horton will have a slot to the right side. Baker, who had the touchdown catch in that last drive, goes in motion wide left. She'll flank out there. Play fake. Lisa back to pass and throw long for Haig. Stop and go! Haig makes the grab! She's going to go! Touchdown Pittsburgh on the first play of the series!
You know you're going to get another look at this, and you see it almost as though the defensive back is holding on to Haig, and then Haig uses that as a stop and go to get separation between her and the DB, and it's nothing but green grass, the end zone for Amanda Haig. Amazing job by number 7.
59-yard strike, Lisa Horton to Amanda Haig with 6:26 left here in the first half of play, and more lightning strikes on the south side for the Pittsburgh Passion.
The offense definitely playing with confidence, led by leader number 14, Lisa Horton.
Again, the Passion didn't have enough personnel ready for the extra point kick. They had to rush somebody out onto the pitch. And now Fallon puts the ball up and through.
Way to kick an opponent when they're down. You take out their quarterback, you come back in, first play of a new set of downs, and you score. The Pittsburgh Passion have got to be happy with that.
And Jennifer, Lisa Horton just struck history here. She's passed for 2 TDs in this game. That's now 100 touchdown passes in her pro career.
Not surprising. There's been many records broken by Lisa Horton, and this is only the first game of the 2013 season, so I'm sure there are many more to come.
Well, I hope they save that football for her.
I'm sure they will.
That one's for the mantle, no doubt about it. 100 touchdown passes in her career, just an amazing feat at this or any level. Now 28-14 lead, so the Passion has DC doubled up.
We can mirror you with the 1 and 2 play drive.
And Amy Fallon will kick it back to the Divas.
Again, one short on the personnel. The Pittsburgh Passion need to shore up these special teams for the second half. Can't be an issue for them.
Fallon sends it toward Baker Bryce, and she'll run across the field. 30. Tries to hurdle players at the 35-yard line, but gets taken down on the play. It looked like Osselborn was the one who got her. Whoever it was is shaken up.
Number 44, Julie Baker-Bright. Tackled by number 5, Tanya Osborne.
It was Osselborn, and she is shaken up on the play.
I've never seen this many injuries.
As we saw Juliet Baker-Bryce try to hurdle her, and she might have taken a knee to the midsection.
Knee to the midsection, knee to the chin. She caught her in midair and did a great job of bringing her down. And looks, she's up under her own power walking off the field, so hopefully just got the wind knocked out of her, and we'll see her soon because she's been a key contributor thus far in the game.
It'll be first down and 10 for the DC Divas. They trail by 14 now as Pittsburgh has erupted for touchdowns by Candace Snyder, Sierra Chick, Angela Baker, and now Amanda Haig. 2 touchdown throws for Lisa Horton give her 100 for her career. Here's Grigsby. Grigsby up the middle with a big hole. And Grigsby finally gets spun around and dropped at the 40-yard line. But they had to play catch-up. And it was Sharon Vasquez who made the saving tackle at the 40 to bring Grigsby down.
Vasquez is one of the most reliable, solid tacklers that the Pittsburgh Passion defense has. She was the only saving grace between Grigsby and the end zone, so she's going to be encouraging her teammates to get in there and tussle feathers with Grigsby because you got to bring her down.
DC trying to play catch up in a hurry here with 5:43 to go in the first half, trailing by 2 TDs. Here's Grigsby again, hit by Griswold in the backfield, and then finally wrapped up and thrown down by Ebony Ivy of Pittsburgh.
Ebony Ivy doing a very nice job there, stopping the tough runner that Grigsby is.
Somehow she's still able to pick up a yard on that run play as Griswold flushed her out of the backfield toward Ivy.
To break always near the line. The line
Down to the 5-minute mark here in the second period of play. Chris Shovlin with Jennifer Cairns on the call here tonight, the Passion Television Network. Glad that you're watching along. Lois McNeil goes out wide to the right side now for DC. Juliet Baker-Bryce is wide to the left. And it is Allison Hamlin back in after being shaken up earlier. She'll throw in traffic, and that ball gets away. It's incomplete. Wizenot was the intended receiver, running a streak down that far right sideline.
Slight breakdown there in the Pittsburgh Passion coverage, but a poorly thrown ball by Allison Hamlin to the intended receiver.
Yeah, that's overthrown.
Kristen Ruzicka was the defensive back trying to cover that zone where that ball was thrown. 3rd down and 9 now for DC. The ball sitting at the Pittsburgh 39-yard line.
Black jerseys are out there already communicating, making sure they know what they need to do. I'm sure it'll tighten up.
Baker-Bryce comes out wide to the left. They have a slot to the right side this time. Hamlin goes under center with Grigsby, the lone running back, behind her. She'll drop back. She'll look and throw down the middle, looking for Wizenot, over the shoulder catch, and that's going to be a DC touchdown. Wow. She put it, Allison Hamlin did, right on the money.
She did, and right in the seam of the zone coverage there, you saw number 46, Kate Sullivan, trying to close in to make a play on the ball and just got there a hair too late.
So DC scores with 4.5 left here in the second period of play, trying to make it a one-touchdown game again. Let's see if Chris Simon, well, actually they have made it a one-touchdown game again. Let's see if they can make it a 7-point game as Simon comes on. Snap goes a little high. It's controlled, put down, and Simon puts it through. So it is a 7-point game. 28-21, Pittsburgh in the lead.
One-on-one, you got right past the corner, and then the ball.
Well, you wouldn't expect anything less from DC Divas. I mean, they're both veteran squads out there that know how to regroup after a setback. It's just a matter of putting the Pittsburgh Passion back out there and trying to jam another one down their throat before you go into half.
Ashley Wizenot running that post pattern, streaking to the post, and Hamlin just striking hard with a rope thrown to her on the fly, and she never really had to slow down away for the ball, did she? She just got that on the full gallop.
Yeah, she absolutely did, and that's why number 12 is Allison Hamlin's favorite target. They have a chemistry between them, and if Allison Hamlin has the time to get that accurate ball to Wizenot, she's going to do it.
And winning breeds the fan.
Well, we're sitting here on the south shore of the Monongahela River. You can hear the Gateway Clipper Fleet's whistles blowing in the background, and it's a beautiful night here in Pittsburgh as the Passion christened brand new Highmark Stadium here at Station Square. Here's the kickoff down to the 20-yard line, and Osselborn on the return. Osselborn picking her home, finding one, and then sliding over to the left to the 44-yard line, and that's where she'll be dropped. And that's where Pittsburgh will start its next offensive attack.
Osselborn has been doing a great job on kickoff returns all night long. She gets them another good return here with field position just shy of the 45-yard line.
Tonight's ball game brought to you in part by Prescription Nutrition, by Allegheny Center Alliance Church, by Yinzer's in the Berg, and by Pranovich Cement Contracting. 4:22 to go, first half. Pittsburgh leads by a touch. Lisa Horton back in, sends a slot to the right side. An eye backfield with Henderson and Chick behind her. Henderson will carry the fullback, and she'll rush for about maybe 2 before she's wrapped up by Melissa Washington of the DC Divas.
You know, Melissa Washington comes in at a mere 6'5" there, Chris.
Is that
200 pounds.
You're glad you're retired, aren't you?
Yeah, I don't want to be hit by someone like that. I would have to use my speed and shiftiness to just get around her.
And you had some, too.
I did.
I remember.
But Henderson's tough. Henderson can take a hit from girls much larger than that.
And it really doesn't matter the size of the girl as much as the size of the heart, right?
That's absolutely right.
Here's Chick out in motion to the left side, sliding along the line. Slot goes right. Horton drops back, rolls right. Rust makes an adjustment and throws and almost picked off. Wizenot stepped in front of the receiver, Haig, and almost got an INT, but fortunately, she dropped the ball.
Well, it looks like Amanda Haig came and got a hand in there very last minute, so the wide receiver turns defensive back and prevents that INT.
Second window. I can understand it, but
Nice
3.5
adjustment there.
I'm sorry, Jen. 3.5 left here in the first half. Passion with a 7-point lead.
interception, and that was almost at her fingertips.
It's about the only thing we haven't seen in this game tonight is a big turnover.
That's exactly right. But let's hope it happens when the DC Diva offense is on the field.
Griswold playing on both sides of the ball. She'll go out wide to the left side once again.
By the DC
3 receivers to the right.
secondary over here near us.
Angela Baker is the wide out with 2 receivers in the slot nearest the line. Here's Horton dropping back in the gun. Flips the screen over to the left side. That ball is caught. Tackle is broken. Osselborn still on her feet, and she's fighting, trying to get that first down. I'm not sure if she made it to the marker or not. She's going to be really close at the DC 46-yard line.
It looks like the spot is going to go our way, but we'll wait for the official sign. There it is. First down. Very nice job by Sonia Osselborn. She fought for that first down and earned it.
On the DC defense, and they're able to attack on some more.
Good hard fighting after the catch by Sonia Osselborn. And she was not to be denied. She wanted that first down. She knew where that blade of grass was and took advantage of it.
That's that heart you were talking about, Chris. She was fighting for it.
Griswold out wide to the left. Candace Snyder is one of the slot receivers with Haig and Baker to the right side. Now Osselborn comes out of the backfield. It's an empty set now for Lisa Horton. She's all by her lonesome back there. The rush is on. She throws one down the left sideline. A fight for the ball, and Griswold looks like she came down with it. They're going to rule it incomplete. They'll say it was incomplete. It must have touched the turf over on that far side.
Picked up after the ground.
It looked like an amazing job by Olivia Griswold. Fight for that ball, going to the ground with the defender, arm in arm. And that usually goes to the offensive player as a reception. But you're right, Chris, it must have touched the turf at some point to be waved off.
And I'm surprised Horton was able to get that ball out of there, Jennifer, because Allison Swales was really coming hard.
Allison Swales was rushing hard off the end there, but again, poised under pressure from number 14, knowing that she had time to wait for Olivia Griswold to turn around, and she did so.
Griswold again will go wide left. Snyder, Haig, and Baker to the right. And it is Osselborn, the lone running back. Second down and 10. Horton calling for the snap and rolling right. Horton to Snyder, makes the snag out of the air at the 35. And she'll run to the near sideline, run out of bounds inside the 30.
And it looked like she put a severe stiff on her, number 22, the defensive back, Lindsay Saulers, for the DC Divas to pick up that extra yardage and allow herself to get out of bounds. Tough play by Snyder.
Snyder with some great catches in this game. And how about the run that she had to get the Passion on the board to start this ball game off a 7-yard gallop?
No doubt. She has been playing lights out today.
Now Horton will switch things up, send Snyder and Haig to the slot to the left, and Griswold will be the wide out. Baker will be the lone wide receiver to the right. And Osselborn stays in at the running back spot, but now she'll move into a receiver's position. A slot to the right side. First down and 10. High snap. Horton controls it. Pump fake. Now throws to the end zone. Osselborn. Oh, the ball got tipped away at the last possible second. A great play by Lindsay Solers of the DC Divas.
Lisa Horton, again, being very patient. Pump once, pump twice, throw on the third pump. And it's just the DC Diva defender who gets a last-minute hand on the ball.
98 seconds left here in the first half. Horton in a hurry now. Stops, throws down into the AstroTurf, and it's incomplete, intended for Baker, and she couldn't get underneath that football that time as it hit the ground first.
Slightly underthrown, but you know that they're dying to have that pass back. They'll make adjustments and they'll knock on the end zone door again to try to get another score on the board as they roll into half.
Pittsburgh Passion Football brought to you tonight by 9 Round Pittsburgh, by Senior Frogs, by Rizzo Construction, Therapeutic Massage by Michelle. It'll be Griswold, Haig, and Snyder to the left once again. Baker to the right now, and Osselborn in the backfield behind Lisa Horton. 1:34 to play in the half. Passion lead by 7.
It's different.
Horton surveying the situation. DC showing blitz. Horton drops back, wings one over the middle. Snyder with a spin move catch. Did she grab it? Yes, she did. She made the catch. And it looks like she might have gotten a first down out of it as well. Let's see. Yes, they will move the chains.
They are determined to get in the end zone, and now they have 4 fresh downs to get it done with 1 minute and 15 left on the clock.
Again, an empty set for Lisa Horton on first down.
If the first down doesn't get
Ball sitting just outside the 16-yard line. Horton calls for the snap, gets it, fires a slant pass, and it goes incomplete, intended for Baker, and again broken up by DC.
That was double team. That was double coverage.
Leisha Hopkins was the defensive back who broke on that pass play to break it up. Second down and 10, Pittsburgh now.
Nothing DC wants more than to hold the Pittsburgh Passion offense here scoreless and go into the half just down 1 as opposed to 2.
Lisa Horton taking her time trying to select the right play out of the playbook. Again, they'll go empty set. Horton will send all 5 receivers out into formation. Second down and 10 from inside the 17-yard line. And she hands off to Haig, and Haig just stutter stepping, now is going to reverse field. Haig gets a block from Horton but can't use it, and she'll be knocked down back at the 23-yard line. So the Passion going to lose about 6.5 yards on this carry by Amanda Haig. That play just never developed, did it, Jen?
No, it didn't. You could see Amanda Haig had no room to run on the outside going left, so she decided to reverse fields, try her hand at the right, and by then it just gave the DC Diva defense too much time to adjust, and she was surrounded by white jerseys.
And we have an injured Diva on the field right now. That gives us time to remind you tonight's game is being brought to you in part by UPMC Urgent Care, by Shadyside Honda, by Mirashati Photography, and by Therapeutic Massage by Michelle. Chris Shovlin, Jennifer Cairns here on the Pittsburgh Passion Television Network tonight, bringing you this first ever game, the inaugural game at Highmark Stadium, the Pittsburgh Passion. This first event ever at this new ballpark on the south side at Station Square. We see the injured players, Deja Scott. And Scott is going to be okay. She'll be able to come back into the ball game after getting shaken up on that last play.
Looked like a stinger in the arm or shoulder the way she was shaking that arm as she ran off the field. So again, I'm sure you're absolutely right. She'll want to be coming right back in on the next play.
Are now the officials holding things up here. Timeout called. The Passion trying to get some more points on the board before they head to the locker room. Right now it's a 7-point lead for Pittsburgh, 28-21. We told you Candace Snyder a 7-yard run. Sierra Chick a 53-yard gallop. Angela Baker caught a 9-yard pass from Lisa Horton. Amanda Haig caught a 59-yard strike from Lisa to give her 100 TD passes for her career. Those are the Pittsburgh scores. DC has touchdowns by Grigsby and 2 by Wisenhunt. Horton and Osselborn are the lone members of the Passion in the backfield, and Osselborn will go out into formation again. 5 receiver set. Horton drops back, looks, throws over the middle. There's Amanda Haig making the catch with a DC Diva hanging on her for dear life. That's Callie Brownson.
Well, it'll be interesting to see here. Do we go with Fallon for the field goal, or do we go for the end zone? And looks like Amy Fallon is coming out with her crew to put 3 on the board.
28 seconds left. Time is still winding here. Pittsburgh will let the clock wind.
20 seconds.
Amy Fallon will have this ball teed up for her by Sherry Kring. Looks like the spot of the kick will be at the 20-yard line. This will be a 30-yard attempt. The angle a slight right to left. 6 seconds left, clock winding. Pittsburgh will take its last timeout with 2 seconds to go. So they'll huddle up before we get the extra point, or I should say the field goal attempt for the kick. From injury recovery to performance training, UPMC Sports Medicine can help athletes of all levels get back in the game and performing their best. To learn more, just call them at 1-855-93-SPORT. That's 1-855-93-SPORT.
Never before has their big 18.
Well, the good idea is to get some points out of this before you go into the locker room.
Yeah, nothing more invigorating than going up into half on the DC Divas, a known rival for the Pittsburgh Passion. Hopefully a little bit deflating to the DC Divas as they go into their own half. See what Amy Fallon can do here with her legs. She's been dependable all year long in 2012. No reason to think she won't be in 2013.
Again, a 30-yard field goal attempt. Here's the snap. The placement is down. The kick is on its way. It has muscle, and it is good from 30 yards. Amy Fallon adds points with no time remaining in the first half of play, and the Passion add to their lead. They're now up by 10, 31-21.
Amy Fallon continuing where she left off in 2012 as our solid, reliable leg in the backfield. Tremendous to have that kind of arsenal in your camp. It's something that we haven't had always in years past, and so you can rely on such a player like #1 Amy Fallon.
Halftime here at the brand new Highmark Stadium at Station Square on the south side with Jennifer Cairns, Chris Shublin. After one half of play, it is the Pittsburgh Passion 31 and the DC Divas 21. Pittsburgh kicks off to start the second half of play, and running up and grabbing that ball on the fly will be Juliet Baker-Bryce, and Bryce runs into a pile just before she gets to midfield. DC will have decent field position to start this third period of play with the Passion leading by 10.
But for a couple kickoffs there, Chris, most of the time each side of the ball, the Passion and the DC Divas have had decent field position. We'll see what the DC Divas have planned, if they've had a half to think about what took place and how to game plan for this first drive of the second half.
Pittsburgh Passion football tonight is brought to you by the Pittsburgh Brewing Company and IC Light, by UPMC Sports Medicine, by US Foods, the Club Sport and Health, and by CORE, the Center for Organ Recovery and Education. Chris Shublin, Jennifer Cairns, former Pittsburgh Passion star, calling this inaugural game at Highmark Stadium tonight. DC Divas with the football to start the second half of play. They're going to go with a 4-wide set here. 3 receivers to the left. And rolling and throwing to the right, and getting that ball to Wizenot is their quarterback, Allison Hamlin, and Wizenot, fortunately, gets run out of bounds on the near side by Janice Masters out at around the 35-yard line.
And that was number 32, Tia Montgomery, that looked as though she was going to tee Wizenhunt up for a good open field tackle. Wizenhunt just made a quick move around her, and then luckily there were some additional black jerseys to chase her out of bounds.
Wizenhunt, man, when she catches that ball, look out. You never know what's going to happen. She is a dynamite player.
She gets a lot of yards after the catch there.
10 touchdowns last year. And she has a 39-yard touchdown catch and an 87-yard touchdown catch for scores tonight. Now Grigsby moves over to the left of Hamlin. Three receivers wide right, one to the left. Now Hamlin's changing up the play here before the snap of the ball. This will be Grigsby with blockers. And Grigsby is dragged down by Sharon Vasquez, but not until she gets another first down with a good head of steam coming out of that backfield.
Sharon Vasquez did a solid job there of denying Grigsby any further yardage by going low and tackling her. Wouldn't be surprised if we hear number 29's number called again on this play.
DC on the march here, Jen. They're at the 21-yard line in Pittsburgh territory. Juliet Baker-Bryce goes out wide to the left. Wizenat is wide right. They're going to tighten up this set a little bit with an eye backfield. And a fumbled snap. And Hamlin had to go down and pick it back up, and she got decked as soon as she did so. Pittsburgh right on top of it that time with Olivia Griswold keeping her eye on the ball.
And I know you can't feel it there, fans watching on TV, but as our Passion fans cheer defense and start stomping, they start shaking the press box up here. It's actually kind of impressive, but they are willing, the Pittsburgh Passion defense, to hold the DC Divas on this drive.
Again, Baker-Bryce goes out wide to the left, Wizenat to the right side. We have a wing left formation here with Erica Walker on that wing. Here's Grigsby getting the handoff. Walker blocking for her. Grigsby trying to cut it back and can't do it because of Olivia Griswold. Sweeping tackle on the play for the Pittsburgh Passion.
Olivia Griswold showing why she leads the Pittsburgh Passion defense in tackles year after year. She's not to be denied. She plays aggressively and tough and was not about to let Kenyatta Grigsby sneak by on that drive.
Grigsby did get ahead of steam enough for a 1-yard pickup. Ball sitting at the 20. DC, after initially getting some good yardage, all of a sudden finds Pittsburgh tightening up. They'll send 3 wide receivers to the right side this time. Wizenat is the tight receiver in that slot toward the formation on the right. Hamlin rifles one. And that ball is caught, and weaving to the end zone will be Juliet Baker-Bryce from 20 yards away.
Bryce holds in the pass. Touchdown.
The number 44, Juliet Baker-Bryce, touchdown.
Nice little slant there by the DC wide receiver, just getting enough separation between her and the Passion defender. Only person who could make a play on that catch after that was number 46, Kate Sullivan, and just wasn't able to get there in time.
Simon for the point after. And it's up, and it just clears the crossbar. Good. Now the Divas are back to within 3 here, 31-28. Just a field goal separates these two clubs with 11:23 to go here early in the third period of play.
Well, the DC Divas are picking up where they left off, showing the Pittsburgh Passion that you may knock us down, but you're not going to knock us out. And now the Pittsburgh Passion offense needs to respond in kind.
20-yard reception by Juliet Baker-Bryce from Allison Hamlin. She now has 3 touchdown passes on the night. DC and Pittsburgh playing an offensive game here this evening on the banks of the Monongahela River.
Back to Pittsburgh where the AC Divas.
Now Simon has it teed up and ready to go once again.
Second half of play of this.
Osselborn and Haig are back to receive for Pittsburgh. Simon puts her foot into it. And that ball will come loose. One of the up receivers was trying to make a play on that ball and didn't get it in cleanly. And that was Tia Montgomery who couldn't field it properly, and the ball is covered, and Pittsburgh will have it back at the 29-yard line. First down and 10.
Well, it's not the field position that Pittsburgh Passion offense had hoped for, but it's the field position they'll deal with, and I'm sure that they'll rely on the experience they had in the first half of driving on the DC Divas and continue to put the ball in the air.
Pace, scoring drive, and they're 1 TD away from a lead of their own.
28. 11-17 to play here in the third quarter.
Here's Lisa Horton, ready to put the offense back in gear here with a slot right formation and I backfield behind her.
Second half. Goes on the 7.
Passion lead by a 31-28 tally. Quick out for Horton, and it's caught by Baker. And Baker, after a little hitch move, runs up to about the 37 or 38 yard line. She'll be shy of the first down. Horton's pass was challenged out there on that right side. It looked like DC knew where it was going, but Lisa just threaded it.
Yeah, they've seen that play once or twice now, and so they know what it looks like, but they're unable to stop it. Lisa Horton, being as accurate as she is, puts the ball on the rope to Baker, and they get positive yardage.
Baker comes to the near side left in the slot with Amanda Haig.
And then let the receivers get the gap.
Snyder is the fullback in this set. 10.5 to go here in the third. Horton under center. Gives to Snyder. Snyder finds a hole. And Snyder will have the first down and much, much more. Almost to midfield. Dropped at the 48-yard line.
And that's number 58, Trigger McNair, in on the tackle for the DC Divas, but not till well after the first down was obtained by Candace Snyder.
Tackle number 58, Trigger McNair.
Talking about how impressive this.
First and 10, Pittsburgh ball on their own.
And Pittsburgh mixing it up nicely through the air and on the ground here tonight. We've commented on that since the beginning of the game. It looked like they were going to go all up top when this game first started, and then they started seeing something and took advantage of what the ground gave them.
Keep going, and I would want to see
Very balanced attack. That's what you need.
we know they can score through the
See what Horton will do this time. Looks like DC's on the blitz. Lisa reads it and tries to run right through it and does so. And it's Snyder tearing it up right up the middle. She'll get into DC territory to the 48-yard line. Now Henderson will check in. Snyder comes out for Pittsburgh. Autumn Dillerman is in. One of the tight end spots. Muzzy Colosimo, the first-year head coach of the Pittsburgh Passion, working with associate head coach Teresa Kahn, the owner of the club, co-owner with Franco Harris, the former Pittsburgh Steeler Hall of Famer. Of course, Franco was instrumental in bringing the championship game of the league over to Heinz Field last year. He and Teresa worked hard on getting that game.
Yes, he was. It was an amazing experience, not only for Pittsburgh as the host team, but for all involved.
Here's Lisa Horton dropping back, giving off to Sierra Chick, and Chick will run to the right into a pile. And Chick will find maybe another 2 yards, and that's about it. And a stop for DC.
Number 35.
Deja Scott. Pittsburgh looking at 3rd down and 4. And it looks like DC starting to play a little stricter defense here in this third quarter.
They are, I think that they've had plenty of times to go in and make adjustments to the plays that they've seen and the formations that they've seen from the Passion, and so it's becoming a real chess match out there.
Will they go for the short?
Baker and Haig both to the left this time. Otherwise, a tight set for the Passion.
Twins here to the near side.
Horton maybe changing the play call now.
Trying to catch him off sides. They want him to jump.
Horton still conducting traffic. Sends one in motion.
Finally, she'll take the snap and hop back. And she throws long for Haig. Haig trying to make the adjustment and lost the football. She got twisted around a little bit. In coverage was Eleni Kotsis. Haig had her beaten by about a yard or 2, but I think Amanda got turned around and couldn't find the football.
I think she did. I think she was expecting it in one spot. Horton threw it slightly in another just to make sure that Haig was the only one who was going to be able to come down with it, and unfortunately Haig wasn't able to make the adjustment.
Going back to that last play, I actually saw potential.
Clock stopped on the incomplete pass. 7:42 to go, third quarter. It's a 4th down and 4 situation. Pittsburgh keeps its offense out there. Line of scrimmage is the DC 46.
And that's a couple now for the referees.
A 3-point lead for the Passion, 31-28, and a grudge match with the DC Divas tonight.
31-28, 7-20.
Haig and Baker both go to the right side. Broken eye backfield behind Lisa Horton. Henderson is in with Chick.
4th down and 4.
Chick rushes in motion to the left.
Check. Over the near side.
Lisa draws the snap.
Goes out to the right side. Pressure battle.
Right side roll, throws downfield, tipped, intended for Haig at the 40, and incomplete off of her hands. And Pittsburgh, unfortunately, will turn the football over on downs. The Passion give it up to the DC Divas at Washington's 46-yard line.
Calculated risk for the Pittsburgh Passion coaching staff to take. Amazing confidence in the Pittsburgh offense. No reason to think that they might not be able to obtain the first down. And the field position is no differently than what the DC Divas has been starting with in kickoff returns. So it's a matter of this defense coming on strong and holding them.
7:35 to go here in the third quarter of play. DC gets the break and holds defensively. Let's see what they can do offensively. We've seen them being able to strike quickly. Let's see if Pittsburgh can come alive defensively now. That's what's needed.
High formation.
This is Grigsby running to the right, slipping a tackle. And Grigsby belted by Sharon Vasquez. Now, I'm going to have to ask myself who was doing the belting there.
Yeah, unfortunately for my buddy Vaz, and I love her to death, I think Grigsby got the better of the shot on her there. But to Vasquez's testament and character, she hung in there and brought her down. Grigsby did not get by her. She was able to take a hit and took one.
Watch her play on her style. She's a physical power back, even while being smaller.
Juliet Baker-Bryce is out wide to the left side. She caught the lone touchdown here in this second half so far. Midway through the third period now. Here's the handoff to Grigsby, and Grigsby gets roped by Olivia Griswold and thrown down. Griswold looked like she was part of DC's backfield on the play that time. That's how deep her penetration was. Grigsby able to get a yard.
And they're running away from Griswold's side for a very good reason, but Griswold is such an athlete, she's able to cross the field and get into the line of number 29, Kenyatta Grigsby.
Whether you're a weekend warrior or a pro athlete, UPMC Sports Medicine offers world-class care from experts who have earned a reputation for excellence. To learn more, call 1-855-93-SPORTS. Two receivers this time, one right, one left. The right side receiver is Lois McNeil. Out to the left is Juliet Baker-Bryce. Now you see Hamlin. She'll change up the play. Make sure everybody's on the same page. Drops back, gives to Grigsby. Grigsby is roped up and brought down. Again, the Passion seemingly in the backfield, and this time
And it looked like it was Ebony Ivy, number 55.
I was going to say I couldn't see her name because her hair was covering up her nameplate. Masters was also in there on the play that time, but Ebony Ivory got first pursuit and was able to knock Grigsby out. Third down and long. All of a sudden, it's becoming a defensive battle here in Pittsburgh tonight.
Pittsburgh Passion defense coming to life. Hold them here and hope for the punt team coming on next.
Just over 5 minutes to play in the third period. Hamlin again will change up the call. She'll take her time and walk back and forth. McNeil to the right, Wizenot in the slot. Baker-Bryce to the left. She's going to throw over the middle. There's Wizenot right over the middle in the seam, and she's able to slip one tackle, two tackles, and unfortunately 3 tackles, and she'll dive in for the touchdown. Wizenot, just a spectacular play, and unfortunately the Passion just couldn't bring her down.
No, again, number 46, Kate Sullivan, looked like she was in position to make a play and just was not able to bring Wizenot down.
Her third reception.
When in doubt, when it's through the air and when it's for a score, it is for
3 touchdown receptions for Wizenot. That one the most dynamic as she broke 3 tackles on the way to the end zone.
for the score.
And now DC with the lead, and they tack on the point after. And the Divas now up in this ball game by a tally of 35-31. This is DC's first lead of this game here in Pittsburgh tonight.
Unsupported Center for Organ Recovery Education, Silversport, Live Well Chiropractic, U.S. Food and Insurance Agency, Kits Valley Resort, Station Square.
Well, it looks as though the Pittsburgh Passion offense is going to have to put this game on their shoulders, come back out here and drive down the field to find that end zone that has eluded them thus far in the second half.
Simon will kick, and Osselborn is to the far side. Baker to the near side for Pittsburgh. The Passion find themselves down by 4 for the first time.
Now DC Divas on top of Pittsburgh, 35-31.
Simon knocks a knuckler downfield. It'll be caught by one of the up receivers for the Passion, and immediately that receiver will drop to her knees, and that ball is down upfield. That looked like Amy Betterton, who fielded that line drive kick, that knuckler.
And I think she did what she thought was best and safe, to just fall on the ball and preserve the field position. You know, those front receivers aren't used to having to run with it and protect the ball, so she just lived to give Lisa Horton decent field position without risking a turnover.
Trains going by, riverboats sailing up the Mon here, and a beautiful night in Pittsburgh. Yep, I love the skyscrapers in downtown Pittsburgh. What a gorgeous night it is in this first ever game at Highmark Stadium on Pittsburgh's south side.
Defense haven't played horribly.
Here at Station Square. Big party after the game tonight, I understand, too, over at the Hard Rock.
That's my understanding, too.
I've read about that all day, and you know, they've been tweeting that and putting it on Facebook, and you can follow the Passion in all those social media. Here's a quick out over to the left side. Baker makes the catch and takes a chuck, a hard one, but holds on. Devin Goldsmith knocked her down right at the midfield stripe, but the Passion able to move the football in the air again. They'll pick up the first down here. At least they're close to it. No, they're going to call that second down and 1, so they're just shy of that first down marker.
Talking about the Passion social media efforts, each day is a different theme. I believe it's Throwback Thursday, so you can see pictures of Passion teams in years past. They even do a fan day where you can send in your picture and they'll post it, so it's worth following them on Facebook and Twitter.
I've been waiting on Throwback Thursdays for your picture to pop up.
It was there once or twice.
Oh, I must have missed it. I'm a Facebook fan, and I follow the Passion on Twitter, and I think everybody should. Now we have a timeout here on the field with 3 minutes and 57 seconds left here in this third period of play, with the Divas now leading 35-31. Now the Passion with 3:57 to go here in this third period of play, trailing by 4. Trying to see if they can move the chains again. It's second down and 1 from just outside of midfield.
Yes, second down and 1.
Here's Horton, play action, sets, throws long, looking for Haig. She gets twisted around, and the ball goes incomplete. And she was covered closely that time by Callie Brownson, the defensive back out of Mount Vernon, Virginia.
Gotta be politically correct there.
It looks again with that tight coverage by the defensive back for the DC Divas that Amanda Haig was unable to get the space needed for that outside arm throw. But you got to guarantee that Horton's going to go back to her favorite target again soon.
Yeah, just for the first down, 1 yard, I think they can do that. Now that was a...
Horton this time will send Baker and Haig to the right.
Since there were 2 defenders draped at the wide receiver here for the left hash.
Kring is the tight end, she's to the left side. Here's a quick opener, trying to get it to Snyder, and Snyder is able to dive up the middle, and she'll pick up 1.5 yards, and that's good enough for a Pittsburgh Passion first down on the straight dive over the middle.
1 yard for a first down, but more shocking.
They call her number, told her this is all you got to do, and she went out there and executed it perfectly for the first down for the Pittsburgh Passion. Fresh 4.
Tonight's Pittsburgh Passion telecast brought to you in part by Silver Sport, by Live Well Chiropractic, Erie Insurance and the Day Insurance Agency, by Station Square, Hidden Valley Resort, AC Athletico, and Nepper Press.
First down and 10.
Just over 3 minutes to go in the third. DC with the lead, 35-31. Horton under center. Gives off to Ciara Chick. And Chick with an initial blast gets wrapped up and tossed by Deja Scott of the DC Divas. That'll be just a 1-yard pickup.
Sierra Chick limping a bit off the field. I don't know if she tweaked something on that play or if she'd done it on a play prior. But hopefully she can get some breathing time and heal quickly, because we need that speed that she alone possesses.
Henderson comes in at fullback now. It looks like Osselborn is in the tailback spot.
It was not a few. That's a common misconception.
Horton digs in. Runs an option play. The pitch goes to Osselborn. Turns the corner 40. 35 and is decked on the far side by Trigger McNair. Good run by Sonia Osselborn, though, and she took some punishment over on that last step or two in that run. She's shaken up.
Perfectly executed option play. You used to see a lot of that last year between number 14, Lisa Horton, and number 7, Amanda Haig, but just as effective with 14 and number 5.
Sonia Osselborn, the injured player, being attended to on the sideline for Pittsburgh now, and the Passion get back to business here with 90 seconds left here in the third period of play. They're down 4. Horton has 2 wideouts to the left. First down and 10 for Pittsburgh. She gave to Snyder. Snyder with a nice gallop over that far side, but then the defense careens in on her. Snyder brought down by McNair and also by Allison Swales once again, who was waiting for her.
Snyder did the best that she could with the ball, trying to run off tackle there to the right side. Getting slowed down by a defender in the front of her, broke that tackle, but just enough time for the defender trailing behind her to jump on her back and bring her down.
Coming down towards the end of the third period of play, the Divas leading 35-31 over Pittsburgh. Passion trying to respond here.
Down now at 9.
Baker in the slot, Haig the wide out left.
Same formation.
Henderson comes in at fullback now.
Side of the field.
Horton drops back, play fake, looking left, throwing for the end zone. Haig fighting off a defender, adjusting for the football, and coming up empty, but a penalty flag is out. We're finally going to get an interference call in this game.
It's long overdue, but I'm glad they at least got the call right this time. Amanda Haig was being manhandled until she could finally break loose, and that's the only way the defensive back is seemingly able to keep up with her.
Because she's not somebody that drops a pass. She is the number 1 threat here.
15 seconds left here
9 times out of 10,
in the third period of play. The officials will mark this one off.
What I saw,
And it's a big one against the DC Divas.
I also saw
15 yards for pass interference. It'll be first down and 10 for the Pittsburgh Passion. The ball sitting at the 17-yard line in DC territory. Passion trailing by 4, trying to climb back into the lead here. Let's see if they can get a score before the end of the third period of play. Just 15 ticks to go.
because she should have had that reception even with
Baker is out wide right. This time Haig will be a wing to the right side. Dilliman is the tight end right. And an I backfield. Play action, end around, it's Haig who takes the handoff, and Haig gets decked back at the 20 and falls forward to the 19. So the Passion ends up losing a net 2 on the play as we come to the end of the third period of play with the DC Divas leading the Pittsburgh Passion 35-31.
Final score, Louisville 72, Wichita State 68.
Here we go, 15 minutes left to play in the game as we get set to start the fourth period of play. The Divas leading the Passion by 4. Pittsburgh with the football deep in DC territory. Lisa Horton digs in. Blitz is coming. Play fake. Horton on the roll. Wants to throw. Haig off of her hands inside the 10-yard line, incomplete. It would have been a near impossible catch to make.
Looks as though Horton at the very last minute didn't think she could turn the corner and get past the scraping DC Divas defenders, and so she threw it to Haig, trying to make something happen. And again, it was a very difficult catch that Haig almost came up with.
That was a difficult.
Third down and a dozen for Pittsburgh.
But yeah, I don't know if Dr. Jekyll and Mrs. Hyde. Money.
Ball is on the 19-yard line. Autumn Dillerman checks back into the lineup now for Pittsburgh, and also coming in is Tammy Spencer.
Get back with her to school. Even for herself personally, she doesn't want to leave this game with that look on.
Passion down 4.
Difficult.
DC took the lead with 4:45 to go in the third period of play, their first lead of the game.
Low pass that Horton's accustomed to.
Tammy Spencer will go in as a wideout to the left, but now we're going to get a timeout here. So we have a break in the action. And while we bring you that break, we'll remind you, Pittsburgh Passion Football tonight brought to you in part by Army ROTC, by Three Rivers Paintball Park, All-Star Limousines, European Wax Center, Perkins Dental, and by Aflac. Play coming up for the Passion, third down and 12. After they call the timeout and regroup. Let's see if they've added a wrinkle here. Three receivers right, and Griswold comes in wide to the left. Sierra Chick, the lone running back. Look how deep she is in the backfield. Here's the toss. And a handoff. Haig back to Horton on the toss pitch, and a throw to the end zone looking for Griswold is broken up. Incomplete. Pittsburgh with the trickery after calling the timeout. Griswold deep in the corner of the end zone, and Eleni Kotsis was able to get up there and get a hand in the way of the football, Jen.
Good play by the defensive back for the DC Divas. That ball just hung up in the air a little too long because Olivia Griswold was open and had separation, but it allowed Kotsis to close in and make that last-minute play to get her hand on the ball and deflect it.
Pittsburgh looking at fourth down and 12. And it looks like they have the kick unit out there. They're going to try for a field goal here, even though that's only going to get them to within 1 point if it's successful. Let's see what happens.
Momentum steal now.
Once again, Amy Fallon hit a 30-yarder earlier.
Here's the placement. The kick is on its way. This is going to be a knuckler, and it is low and away, and no good. No good from 37 yards out. So the Passion come up empty on that scoring opportunity. So with 14 and a half minutes left in the football game, the score remains the DC Divas 35 and the Pittsburgh Passion 31. Tough break for Pittsburgh here.
Absolutely, and you know, it runs through your mind, are they setting up for another trick play? Because you know the holder there, number 23, Sherry Kring, has been known to throw the ball once or twice on a Charlie Brown play. But that time they kept it honest, and it's just Amy Fallon didn't get enough leg under the ball for the field goal.
During every athletic season, UPMC Sports Medicine treats more student athletes than any other sports medicine provider in the region. To learn more about how they can help you recover from injury and reach your peak performance, call 1-855-93-SPORTS. Allison Hamlin under center again for the DC Divas. Gives off. This is Grigsby with a blast. Grigsby breaks another tackle. Grigsby on the fly, but Sharon Vasquez able to catch up to her and drag her down. Truly the saving tackle that time.
Absolutely. I mean, Sharon Vasquez has been doing it all night long. She's been the saving grace, the center fielder out there at free safety, just bringing Grigsby down at the last second. If she gets past Vasquez, she's off to the races for yet another DC Diva touchdown.
I'm impressed with the Divas line play. They open up big holes, and that allows Grigsby to run through.
Well, that's their bread and butter. That's their strong point, is they've always been sizable, have always been forcible, and how the Pittsburgh Passion beat them in the past is with speed and agility and a swarming defense.
This time a pro eye look. They give it off. Grigsby again, picking and choosing which way she wants to go, and she's able to break another tackle and get ahead to about the 30-yard line, maybe close to the 29.
She gets up to the 30-yard line. She's going to
Again, DC continues to move against the Passion here with 13.5 to go. Pittsburgh needs a defensive stop here. They came up empty in their last scoring opportunity and are down 4.
They need to really help energize the offense. The offense now is going to be a little deflated from that failure to score. A big turnover here by the defense would be just what they need to energize themselves.
You took the words right out of my mouth, Jennifer, no question. Here's a run by Grigsby again. She gets stood up and she keeps the pile moving forward. And Grigsby carries everybody for about a 3-yard blast. And again, DC will pick up the first down.
This is a team that now with the lead has the ground and pound. You don't want when you're down.
Ebony Ivy was in there on the stop, as was Caitlin Niedermeyer.
They get down by 2 scores.
But again, Grigsby with a full head of steam, piling in,
You want them because
jamming Pittsburgh back.
then you're
Ball sitting at the Passion 27-yard line.
then you're able to
Juliet Baker-Bryce to the left side, Ashley Wisenant to the right.
get out there and do it by yourself.
Grigsby dotting the I. And here comes Hamlin under center once again. DC looking confident here. Let's see if Pittsburgh can get the stop they need. Here's Grigsby, little stutter step, and whoa, she got pounded as she got to the 24-yard line, but she hung on to that football.
Looks as though Griswold and Ebony Ivy are the 2 Passion defenders that met Grigsby as soon as she crossed the line.
Tia Montgomery came out of that pile. She was down low too. Second down and 7 yards to go for DC. Ball sitting at the 24. Divas taking their time coming out of the huddle. They lead 35-31. Hamlin wants to waste a little bit of time apparently. She's changing up the play. Apparently she sees something she wants to pick on. Hamlin hit once, twice. She'll be sacked. Big play for Pittsburgh. And you better believe it was Olivia Griswold who gets the sack. A little bit of help there from Caitlin Niedermeyer to finish her off.
Absolutely. You know, both of those ladies were chomping at the bit, timed the blitz perfectly, and Allison Hamlin never had a chance to escape their clutches.
Loss of 4. It is 3rd down and 11 for DC. The ball sitting at the Pittsburgh 28. Clock continues to spin toward the 10.5-minute mark of this ball game. Divas lead it for the first time tonight, 35-31. They took the lead late in the 3rd period of play. Now they bring a slot receiver to the right side, the Divas do. And we're going to get a penalty flag here, a procedure call against DC that will cost them 5.
Back them up, make that third down even longer than it was.
It'll be 3rd down and 16 now. Ball sitting at the Pittsburgh 33-yard line.
Now we've seen both teams be able to get 11 plus yards in a clip, so they're by no means dead in the water, but it's far more helpful for the Pittsburgh Passion defense.
3 receivers to the right side for DC. Lois McNeil, Melissa Mitchell, and Ashley Wisenant. Over to the left side is Juliet Baker-Bryce. Grigsby, the lone running back. Hamlin wants to chuck one. It's incomplete. She led the receiver, Juliet Baker-Bryce, too far with the football that time, and Pittsburgh was swarming around it in the secondary.
They were. She had the inside step on the defensive back, though, and had that ball been thrown on point, she likely would have come down with it, and then it would have been again onto the strong safeties to bring her down. But luckily, the pressure was just enough to keep the ball at number 44's hands for the DC Divas.
Jan, that brings up 4th down and 11.
This is huge here. The defense has to come up big. Play discipline, play tough.
Now DC wants timeout. 9:42 remaining in the football game. The Divas lead by 4. Here we go, 4th down, 16 yards to go. DC with the ball at the Pittsburgh 33. The Divas lead by 4. The Passion need a stop. Hamlin, pump fakes, throws. That ball is incomplete on a slant out over to the far side to Juliet Baker-Bryce. She was not going to catch that football.
It looks like it was number 43, Alicia Jones, out of Russell, Pennsylvania, graduate of Waynesburg University, that came up with a heck of a play on the right-hand side just in time to keep the ball out of the DC Diva receiver hand. That's the big stand we've been looking for from the defense, Chris.
Looks like we have a penalty flag down, but Dave Barry, the referee, says it's personal foul against DC. So that will be declined by Pittsburgh, and the Passion will take over on downs. They come up big, Jen, just what they needed to do. Now, the second part of the equation is move it downfield and get some points.
Absolutely. You know, that's their first defensive stand of the game, but it couldn't have come at a better time. It gives the Pittsburgh Passion an offense chance to drive it down the DC Divas' throats.
Let's see if they can do just that. Olivia Griswold has played both sides of the football tonight. She's checking back in as a receiver. Angela Baker and Amanda Haig will be to the right side. And they're going to send Griswold to the left. 9.5 to go in the football game. Pittsburgh needs to get a score on the board. They're down 4. Horton winds up and throws, and that ball caught at the knees by Baker on a sliding catch for about a 9-yard gain.
I'm so partial to the NFL rule. I really wish they would go back to having to be touched, not just the ground being something that can blow the play dead. Very reminiscent of a lot of Jen Moody catches where she'd go down on her knees, pop back up, and run for extra yards after the catch.
Women's Football Alliance obviously has gone to the college rules this year. And pro football for women, it was just like the NFL. Now we see Snyder going in motion left. Empty backfield now. Lisa Horton calling for the snap. Fires to Haig. Bobbled it incomplete. Haig might have known she was going to get hit by Callie Brownson, or perhaps she was turning to look to see where she could run.
I think it's probably the latter there, Chris. I mean, she's used to catching balls in lots of traffic. I think she was trying to think of where her next step was going to be after she got the ball in her hands.
Sherry Kring checks back in for the Passion. She'll be the tight end over on the right. Actually, she's going to split out and be one of the slot receivers. DC has tightened up their pass defense here in this second half, particularly in the late stages of the third and into the fourth periods. Horton catching the looping snap, fires a pass to Snyder at the 50, and she turned to look downfield to see where to run and forgot to make the catch. Incomplete pass. Boy, that's tough because the Passion just needed 2 yards. They would have picked up 8 on that pass play, or maybe 10 on that pass play.
Very unfortunate. That was a guaranteed first down. She had done a great job, Candace Snyder did, finding open space, settling in right between the zone, and just couldn't hang on to it.
There's still plenty of time, but I don't know if it's a problem.
Now, Passion looking at 4th down and 2. And it looks like they're going to bring the punt team out instead of trying to go for it. There's still a lot of time left in this game, though. 8:38 showing on the clock, as you see. Here's Snyder calling for the punt snap.
Snyder to punt the football away.
She gets it, puts her foot into it, and that wobbler will go to Wisenant, and she's going to catch it and cut to the far side. 35-40, 45-50, Wisenant on the carpet. Finally run out of bounds by Snyder, the punter. But deep into Pittsburgh territory now. And again, the Pittsburgh defense is going to be called upon to make a big stop.
They almost got back to where the line of scrimmage was originally, and you know, in that scenario, you'd like to see the Passion try to go for the first down, but they did the smart move and punting it away. It's just we weren't shoring up our tackles.
Put on my special team, but you can't
So a big break for DC here.
Now they return the DC hat.
A couple of passes that should have been caught, dropped by the Passion, and now DC
There's no
trying to
there.
add some more points here. They're up 4 right now. The Passion defense needs to hunker down. They need to get a stop here or try to get a turnover. Hamlin drops back, gives off. Grigsby roped in the backfield and dropped for a loss. A great tackle for the Pittsburgh Passion by Olivia Griswold. Who else?
You know, when you get in situations like these, the Pittsburgh Passion have been in them before, and they're no stranger to having to put the game on the defense's shoulders. And when that happens, number 86 is a number that you see over and over again.
Second down, 12. Divas ball.
And now you're putting the defense on the field almost too much.
This time, Lois McNeil comes in as wide out to the left.
That defense, they want to get
Baker Bryce is to the right. Here's the give to Grigsby. She runs through a big wide hole and keeps going. Grigsby bounces off of one tackler, breaks a second tackle, and Grigsby is finally spun around by Sharon Vasquez down inside the Pittsburgh 10-yard line. Another saving tackle by Sharon out of the secondary, but the Passion gave up a lot of yards.
They did there, Chris, and it was a lot of, again, patience exhibited by Kenyetta Grisby, because she followed her blockers, and you would see as they got deeper and deeper into the Pittsburgh Passion secondary, they are laying heavy blocks on those safeties, and somehow Sharon Vasquez was able to break free and make that touchdown-saving tackle.
First and goal from the 8-yard line, but now it looks like we're going to get a timeout on the fields. We'll take a break. 7:21 left. The Divas on top 35-31 over the Pittsburgh Passion. The Divas step up to the line with 7:21 to go here in the football game. They're deep in Passion territory. They have the lead. Here's Grigsby running right and running into the end zone for another touchdown. So the Divas tack on some more points. Kenyetta Grigsby running it right at Pittsburgh there and getting the points on the board, and now the Divas lead by 10.
They had a one-play 59.
You know, it's the Pittsburgh Passion has still enough time, 7 minutes, a little over 7 minutes on the clock. If they can score quickly as they were doing in the first half of the game,
They're not out of this thing
they
by a long
can
shot.
win this game.
Simon's kick is a looper, and it is in, and that's an important kick because that puts them up by 11 points. So right now the DC Divas leading 42-31. Pittsburgh can still climb back in this ball game with a touchdown and a field goal, but they'll need a 2-point conversion to at least tie it, or just try to get 2 TDs to take the lead.
Yeah, it looked like they were going to get a gift there. That kick was so low it might not go through the uprights, but it just had enough to squeak by, and so it makes the Passions climb back a little bit higher.
So Kenyetta Grigsby added some insurance on for DC. That's her second touchdown of the game. She had a 40-yard run early on. It seemed like an eternity ago when this game started.
42-31.
So 42-31 the score. DC on top right now.
She's set to keep this one away, but
Yeah, and the Passion are almost playing for overtime, but luckily 2 touchdowns still
Simon's kick.
down by 11.
Knuckles down to the 25. And the return out to the 40-yard line, bringing it back is Tia Montgomery.
This time Tia was able to see that ball into her chest and get some positive yards on the carry. To her credit, those DC defenders that were riding her back for a few extra yards were aggressively trying to strip her of the ball, and she just was able to have the wherewithal to hold on.
Yeah, she's somebody
7 minutes, 7 seconds to go.
Montgomery.
Can the Passion make a comeback here?
Who else they have on their defense?
Basically a 2-touchdown game when you get right down to it. Let's see if they can do it.
timeout call.
Now Dave Barry will stop play here, and the DC Divas have called timeout. 7:07 left. Washington ahead. The DC Divas 42, the Pittsburgh Passion 31.
Pittsburgh Station.
7:07 to go in the football game. DC with a 42-31 lead over the Passion. Pittsburgh with the football now. First down and 10. Lisa Horton in the gun. Candace Snyder off to her right shoulder. They're chatting a little bit now. She's going to send Snyder to the left. 3 receivers left, 1 to the right. Horton calls for the snap. Sets. Throws. Ball is caught by Griswold at the 49-yard line, and she traipses her way into Washington territory. It's going to be a first down for Pittsburgh at the DC Divas 49.
Exactly what they need to do. Come out, hit the Divas hard. Initially 1 play, first down. If they continue to move the ball in these clips, the timing left in the game is not going to be a problem for the Pittsburgh Passion.
Clock is running, though. We're down to 6:45 left here in the football game. 3 receivers left, 1 to the right this time for Lisa Horton. Snyder comes out of the backfield in formation to the right. Horton by herself back there. Fires one, looking for Snyder. It got tipped, and it's incomplete. That time, Alicia Hopkins, the defensive back, just got lucky on the play. I think she kind of got spun around, and the ball actually hit her.
Yeah, I think that, she unintentionally broke up that pass, but it's still a broken up pass nonetheless. Biggest benefit of the Pittsburgh Passion is it stops the clock.
6:28 left here in the football game.
Line drive passes, no surprise incompletions, no surprise at being above the wide receiver too much under it.
Griswold will walk over to the left side.
Back into
This time the slot with 3 receivers is to the right. Horton will call for the snap, but first she'll send Snyder out into formation 2. Over to the left side slot.
5 wide once again for Horton. She'll get the snap.
Lisa pumps, now throws, looking for Haig. On the sideline, Haig reaches up and comes down empty. And it's Wizenot covering her on the pass play.
that was clean.
It looked as though, again, the ball just hung a little long, allowed Wizenhunt to come back and make a play because Amanda Haig came on a clear route where she was in that zone for a while all by herself, but as the ball hung, she got closer and closer to Wizenhunt's coverage.
Tonight's game brought to you in part by Yinzer's Film, by Stewart Capital, Salon Ivy, the PA National Guard, Vema, Atlas Resource Partners LP, by Toast, and Allegheny Health and Physical Medicine. Passion need to get it downfield quickly here, trailing 42-31. Snyder sent out to the left slot. Horton bounces back. A draw over the middle, and that ball was tipped by one of the 4 linemen rushing right at Lisa Horton, and it goes incomplete, fortunately for the Passion.
You know, they just were taking advantage of the pure size there. They sent all 4 linemen straight at Horton and said, you know, we're 6 foot something, and you're going to have to throw over us, and she just wasn't able to do so.
Tonight's game also brought to you in part by Prescription Nutrition, by Allegheny Center Alliance Church, by Yinzer's in the Berg, by Prenovich Cement Contracting, by 9 Round Pittsburgh, and by Senor Frogs.
6-18 left in the game.
Now the Passion call a timeout here with 6:18 left in the game. The DC Divas lead by a score of 42-31. Passion looking at 4th down and 10. They've got to move the ball. They can't punt now. They need 2 scores. So they've got to see if they can get at least a first down out of this. DC has tightened up tremendously here in this second half defensively. Here's Horton firing over to the right side. It's incomplete, looking for Baker. Turned around, trying to reach up for that ball, and she comes down empty. And again, the Passion will turn the ball over on downs with 6:12 to go in this football game. And now, Jennifer, they really need to get a defensive stop or a takeaway.
They need to get a takeaway, and they need a takeaway quick. That last pass was just a little bit too high for Baker to come down with, and so now it's all on the defense's shoulders.
Tough break for Pittsburgh. They can't seem to connect here in the passing game in the late going. DC is pretty responsible for that right now, we can say. Allison Hamlin struts back out behind center. And again, she'll take her time. Looks like she's going to change up the play, even though they just came out onto the field offensively. Blitz is on. Grigsby gets the handoff, runs through it, and Grigsby finally gets tumbled over on the far side of play. On the stop that time for Pittsburgh was Amy Betterton.
Betterton did a good job riding Grigsby down into the ground, but again, it's just too much yardage, too much time eaten off the clock. You need to be trying to strip that ball as you're bringing the running back down.
Clock ticking against Pittsburgh right now, and in DC's favor, they're up 42-31.
An inch away from a sack, just an inch away from even a tackle to a loss, even would have got the running back.
Juliet Baker-Bryce at the bottom of your screen. Over to the right side is Ashley Wisenon. Drop back, give off. Grigsby again trying to twist her way through the line, and she'll get maybe a yard. Trying to bang those tough yards. Olivia Griswold was there for Pittsburgh, and so was Monica Williams. Tonight's ball game brought to you in part by Rizzo Construction, by Therapeutic Massage by Michelle, by Mirashati Photography, Shadyside Honda, and by UPMC Urgent Care.
And we're just going to keep seeing more of the same here, Chris. This will be a handoff to number 29. Eat off as much time from the clock as they possibly can. If they're lucky, break one free for another score that definitely puts the nail in the Passion's coffin. But I know that there are some black jerseys on the other side that are hell-bent to prevent that.
Let's see if they can do just that. Uh-oh, bobbled snap, and the quarterback got some rough handling there as Hamlin lost the ball. Now they're going to call a procedures call against DC, so they had that play just blown up from the start, and that's going to cost them 5. Still, we're down to 4.5 minutes left. Now the clock will start winding again in DC's favor. Hamlin to Grigsby. Grigsby with another hole, breaks loose, has a first down, and finally gets tumbled over on that far side by Amy Betterton, who had her by the jersey. Another first down for DC, and it's not looking good right now for Pittsburgh with 4 minutes left in this ball game, and they can't seem to get a stop.
No, they definitely have their work cut out for them at this point. You're hoping for a forced fumble that they could pick up and run back for a touchdown or something to get the ball out of the DC Divas' hands, but it is a very steep uphill climb at this point.
Clock continues to unmercifully run here. Passion running out of time. They're going to come after the Divas this time. They hit Grigsby in the backfield, but she bounces off of Griswold and finally does get covered down inside the 26-yard line. Well, the Passion aren't the only ones who benefit from the expertise and treatments of UPMC Sports Medicine. UPMC physicians, athletic trainers, and physical therapists work with people at all levels of competition so you can stay healthy and active or take your game to new heights. The Passion put their trust in UPMC Sports Medicine, and so can you. Call for more information at 855-93-SPORTS.
To go knowing it's too little too late and really taking a beating.
Gen time is just not a factor here as far as Pittsburgh is concerned. And trying to get back into this thing. It's winding against the Passion right now.
It is, and at this point they're just needing to preclude yet another score by the DC Divas for playoff implications.
Here's Grigsby around that left side, and Grigsby finally gets tackled at around the 12-yard line. Kate Sullivan is the one who made the tackle there, but again, DC will pick up some nice yards. They'll move the chains, and we have an injured player with 2:25 left in the football game, and the Divas ahead of the Pittsburgh Passion here in this groundbreaking night on the south shore of the Monongahela River at Highmark Stadium at Station Square, 42-31. Tia Montgomery was the player shaken up, and she walks off under her own power.
After that, I don't think any more Griswold.
Clock down to 1:45 to go. And now we've got a penalty flag. Dave Barry blew his whistle and lost it. And he's going to get a call here against the Divas.
They took too much unnecessary time. And now here's the penalty. We're still going to see running now. The game is still decided. Get off.
Here's Hamlin stepping back up to the line. Give, and Griswold makes the tackle on the play in the DC backfield. And that time, they didn't go to Grigsby, but rather Erica Walker carrying that football. And Walker just had her legs taken right out from under her.
Well, the Pittsburgh Passion defense just showing their true heart here. The outcome of this game is inevitable, but they are just not going to break and allow the DC Divas to get into the end zone for one last score.
Under a minute to play now in the football game here at Highmark Stadium.
Those kind of fans, that's the fans you want. You need fans that are always with you, thick and thin. You're not fair weather here.
Hamlin steps up to the line. Line of scrimmage, the 24-yard line. Hamlin will take the snap and take a knee here just to get the clock spinning, as DC will win this ball game tonight over the Pittsburgh Passion. As right now they're just trying to get the clock to empty out here. And tonight's Pittsburgh Passion football game has been brought to you in part by Pittsburgh Brewing Company, the makers of Icy Light, by UPMC Sports Medicine, by U.S. Foods, the Club Sport and Health, and by CORE. Of course, CORE is the Center for Organ Recovery and Education. Jennifer Cairns, that's pretty much going to do it for this ball game, as time will just be allowed to run down. And the DC Divas will take a 1-0 record after the first game. Pittsburgh falls to 0-1 after game one, 42-31 the final score.
Sure, not the way that you want to start off your season, but the Pittsburgh Passion are a resilient bunch. They'll bounce back as they take on the Toledo Reign next week on the road, and they will be poised to once again make a playoff appearance, I guarantee you.
All right, again, the final score, DC Divas 42, the Pittsburgh Passion 31, with Jennifer Cairns, Chris Shovlin. Good night.